terms of he keeps getting back in the team, he keeps being there. This is someone that looks like he's been able to, in moments, take that position. But like he said, we haven't seen it constantly. So I think a miss is probably unfair, given the fact that the price he's been brought in for as well. Yeah, I'd probably put him towards a hit or not too sure about.
No, I mean
it's a hit.
He got played to be a hit. He's brought in as a backup to Shaw. £14 million isn't a significant amount of money. It's not insignificant, but it isn't. Starting left back at Manchester United cost more than £14 million. So it wasn't.
Starts last season though for United.
but tell me again.
We're talking about being a rotation.
Good, or even I think with him, if you want to be a great team, which is what Man United want to be, you want someone who's super exciting in an attacking sense. And I don't think we've really seen that from an attacking point of view.
One thing I will say though, from a Man United fan's point of view, is I definitely think he's made Luke Shaw better. Like I think Luke Shaw was one of our best players last season, and having the pressure of competition from a player like Malacia behind him has definitely improved him.
Well, so that makes him a hit because he's...
No, but I think that 14 starts last season wasn't a massive hit.
That's not £14 million on Luke Shaw.
I wouldn't say it was a hit.
No, it is returned. But the point you make is so true. Ultimately, if we go through this list, we're being realistic. A lot of them are probably not going to be great. Right. So that's the feeling.
Let's go to Christian Eriksen. Obviously signed on free. 30 is made at the time of the transfer itself. Where do you rank Christian Eriksen?
So obviously it's cheap.
I said it's a double. He said double.
I think he served a purpose last year.
Like Lautaro.
Season that his legs had started to go. This year, I think there's even more of a feeling of that around him. I think as a free transfer, I still think last year was strong. Overall it was a successful season, and he was a big part of that. So
what I would say, undoubtedly he's been a hit, a free transfer. Eriksen's quality he's had a significant impact on Manchester United based on the cost to bring him. But the reason why he might be struggling somewhat this season is because he's a part of a system that's struggling. When he struggled at Spurs, when Pochettino's ideas started to fall apart somewhat for various reasons at the tail end of his time at Tottenham. Eriksen's form towered at the same time. It requires a fluid and a progressive system that gets him on the ball and can exploit movement going forward. And he doesn't have that at Man United. He didn't have that at Tottenham.
All happy with hit then?
Yeah, I'm comfortable here. The thing is, when you bring someone on a free in your 30s, he's not there to be the future Man United. He's there to tie over, and he's done that really well for me.
He's a hit then. Next up.
Lisandro Martinez.
Yes, I think I like him. I think he's cost us a solid amount of money, 50 odd, right? 56, right? Yeah. And I think he's proven that he's got the right kind of tenacity. I think he's fantastic on the ball. And again, it sort of bleeds into your problems with Ten Hag, because there's a lot of players here that there's more sort of in them, in a better system, like you're saying. And in terms of those players, and I think maybe we're focusing on those Ajax players, because you've got players who like coming in and you're thinking, he should be the start of something. He's technically superb, but he's not been put in a system that allows him to thrive in that sense.
But Ten Hag said that he can't play the system we made at Ajax. He was forced to start to implement that.
Yeah, I think it's an answer. Don't bring in these players.
I think
you're not going to play that way.
He wanted to, and that was the idea at the beginning. He realised,
Just to defend a little bit here. Just to defend United a little bit. Like Martinez, excellent last season. Like third place, Carabao Cup winners. He was an integral, if not the best player in the side. And then he picked up a broken foot injury. And then obviously had another problem with that same injury this season. So we haven't really seen him back to fully fitness. And when he's been fit and playing, he's undeniably been a hit, sure.
I think this is why this is a great thing to do, because although it's sort of piece by piece, it's not totally on some of the players. And Martinez, as an example, I think he's the biggest hit probably of all of them.
Okay, put him in then. Next one, Casemiro. Now this is an interesting one because this is a player that has caused a lot of debate. I think it's fair to say. He had a lot, good season last season. We saw a lot of people critiquing him this season. So I'm intrigued to know where you put Casemiro. Flav, let's start with you. Where would you put Casemiro here?
When he was signed, Manchester United were in a mess by his own, comment. He said, "Don't worry, I'll come and fix this." Yeah. And he did. He transformed
70 million.
£70 million, but for a player of his reputation, coming from Real Madrid.
Dude, I get the same fucking dude.
And you had an excellent season last year.
What the fuck?
10 games into the first season, it hasn't quite worked this season. Doesn't mean that you discount what he's done previously He's definitely a hit.
Yeah, interestingly, most aerial duels won, blocks, tackles won, and duels won for Man United in Premier League this season. So there's a lot of stats that do back up his performance, but a lot of people are talking about, the red cards as well and the other aspects. So he is someone that splits opinion, but he's clearly a quality player at the same time.
You can't question his quality. Last year, he was going around saving Man United in times. He was coming up with goals. He was coming clutch for him.
Yeah.
I think the issue with Casemiro is this is Champions League Casemiro we're talking about, and there's this precedent that you expect of him. And in big moments when you're not able to be available for games because it's getting suspended, or it looks like your level is dropping, you then have to start to, like you said, start thinking, we spent 70 million on a player that looks like by the end of next season, he could probably be done for. And that's where, that maybe isn't a reflection on him, more a reflection on the system, but does that make him a hit?
And you get 4 years out of it.
Sorry, his age in account here?
Yeah, I think, this is the thing. If you get 4 years out of him and it's cost 70 million, and those 4 years are really, really solid, and the first year, let's remember, he was brilliant last year. Absolutely brilliant. This year, it's not been brilliant. There's other factors in that. He looks a little bit alone in the midfield at times. But I think if you get another 2-3 solid seasons out of him, you can live with the 70 million. If you don't, and he completely falls away, then 70 million is too much. And as a general strategy, I get you wanted to bring in experience, but it's a waste to a point of a lot of money.
So what are you thinking, guys?
I think it's a hit. I don't think it's not.
I think with a better manager and better overall recruitment, it's a hit for me. But we don't know yet.
So in this moment, again, going off of what he did last season, like he has delivered for them.
Yeah.
I think he has been a hit, but in totality, what he beat United.
So you can't predict what might happen, right?
If we're going to do one, let's get him up.
He's a hit, but is he a hit?
Okay.
He's not a smasher, is he?
Anthony.
Wow. Okay.
85 million.
Yeah. So again, with that long list, I think there's some guys that you've put a lot of money on, and they need to be good. If you ever go at the Chelsea signings, you've got a few 25 mils, and then you've got those big numbers for Caicedo and Mudryk, and so the expectations are higher on them. Anthony could well define Ten Hag's time as Man United manager, because they seriously have overpaid for what we have seen. He has not delivered, and again, if you have him in a system that's working really well, he obviously did well at Ajax. He did have creative output. But there's been none of that at Man United.
The miss?
Massive.
I think this is probably the biggest miss. I think ultimately, given the price paid, and ultimately to what James said, when a manager puts faith in the former player as well, there's more eyes on it. It's like you have to deliver.
A lot of expectancy.
A lot of expectancy, and at no point have we seen. We're not even seeing real glimpses. And even when you try to make allowances or sort of, it's going to come soon, it's just not working. And if you think about that price in the market, what you could have potentially got, this is a big miss.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I think his failings at Manchester United have added pressure on Ten Hag that wouldn't have been there if they hadn't signed Anthony.
Interesting. Okay, next few, we've got a few loans now.
Let's do them all together.
Let's do them together.
Grab the loan pile.
I think we've got 4 together. So we've got Martin Dubravka, loan from Newcastle, 2 League Cup appearances, back now at Newcastle. Jack Butler, no Premier League appearances now at Rangers. Wout Weghorst and Marcel Sabitzer. So because they're loans, we won't spend...
Yeah, is there any on there that aren't...
I think Sabitzer was a hit last year. Do you not think? Because if you look at his average score across his performances at Manchester United last season, they weren't insignificant. He's averaging around 7.6. 7.06, sorry. So as a lone player, and to play at that level, with a reputation, I would put Sabitzer as a hit bloke.
Okay.
So I think Sabitzer's a miss. I think ultimately, if he comes as a lone player and he performs, he would have still been there if he was that good.
If he's now playing by Munich.
No, he's gone to Dortmund.
That's not. I'm sorry. That's not much of a down there.
Do we put him in the middle then if it's a hit and a miss?
Yeah, I don't think he
Can't have a
wasn't
TBD
awful. He was on
Can we have a TBD on a player that has now
Or Joe,
no longer at the club?
as a Man United fan, was he a hit or a miss?
It's a loan sign.
Yeah, but
I mean, but they're not there, so yeah, aren't they?
And Weghorst, to be fair, they're not the clubs. To be fair, them, and obviously back at different clubs. So.
Yeah, and then you got Weghorst as well, also going in your miss column.
So we're going misses, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Weghorst obviously didn't score a Premier League goal, right? Weghorst is the only one you ever bit.
2 goals for United, 1 in the Carabao, 1 in the Europa League, none in the Premier League, obviously now at Hoffenheim.
Yeah, but the work rate was there, and they were kind of doing all right for a bit, and he was on loan. But this again, that's why Anthony is such a miss, because when you spend all that money, and you add to the fact that Man United haven't brought in good money for players for a very, very long time, that leads to you having to make loans like Sabitzer and Weghorst. He did a job.
He's a miss though.
Yeah.
Next up,
Mason Mount is next. Maya, what do you think about Mason Mount? Obviously Chelsea, with the Chelsea hat on.
I've got a lot of time for Mason. I think ultimately it's a player that was so good for Chelsea. It was a shame to see him go for whatever reason. And when you looked at the options that were available, looking at Man United, I thought, I don't think this is the one for me personally. And this is someone that Ten Hag apparently really wanted, but we've just not seen anything. We've actually not seen him on the pitch. He's been injured, and then after that, we're not seeing him. So it's really hard to judge because...
Very early as well, though.
Yeah, it's very early, but it's really hard to judge because we actually haven't seen him play that much. You'd think that ultimately, if he was fit, could he come in and do something in the team? But even then, he's not being selected, so...
You make a point, a lot of people pointing out no goals and assists yet for Man United, but I think we do have to balance that with the fact he has been injured. There's a lot. It's a new club for him. I think for it's worth putting that perspective in there.
Yeah, I mean,
where do you put Mason Mount? Because he's clearly a quality player.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put him as a hit because his body of work at Man United's not there. But any rebuild and the inevitable rebuild when Ten Hag leaves will be
Inevitable.
I think a couple of years ago.
If it is
I think he should have gone already, in my opinion. I think I at the start of the season I was like, I'm not sure about him. Did I not say that?
Mikhailo Mudryk.
And now
I'm afraid he's talking about him.
Illuminati. Bellingul. Mikhailo.
So I have to go with it. But to answer your question, Mount will be at the centre of any rebuild that comes in.
So TBD for now?
Yeah.
Right, next up, Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans is getting a bad rap here. I think but there's this thing where people are going, well, how can we have Johnny Evans playing for us? Like a couple of seasons ago, I like the Johnny Evans signing. Like he's not there to be a starter. He's there to be there if you need him. And then overall, the team is playing badly when they've got the ball. I think again, he's got stuffing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think that's a good signing. I have no problems with it. I think the problem is that there's a stat attached to him that if you put him and Maguire there, you go, oh, hang on, we saw this a few years ago. Maguire, that's one thing. But Johnny Evans, I think that's a clever little squad signing.
I would have to agree.
I don't hate it. I'm just saying he shouldn't be there. If this is Manchester United that we grew up with, it shouldn't be relying on a 35, 36-year-old Johnny Evans to be the mainstay. It's not his fault.
Illuminati. Hasta los cristianos.
There's been a lot of talk of United losing their way. If there's one person that changing who actually knows what it is to be United, it's probably him. So you know what? Give him a hit. He might be
All right, give him a hit for him.
Now that, Joe.
Vincula.
I like Johnny. Let's move on. Again, a player that a lot of people have been very vocal about, Andre Onana, 47 million from Inter. Mike, should come to you first because
Yeah, the big issue.
You had a big half, yeah.
The big issue with goalkeepers when you're replacing number one, as you will know, is that you have to forget about the ghost of the previous number one. His performances this season still have us having conversations about the hair, therefore it's a miss. If you can't eradicate the ghost of the previous number one, surely you're not performing at that level. I know it's early days, but the stuff that he's been brought in that people champion him for in terms of passing, we're not seeing enough of it. Basic shot stopping, we're not seeing enough of it. It is early doors, but the De Gea conversation is still there. Therefore, right now, this is a miss.
I think I would go in the middle, but and purely because I think he will be a success at United. He was the best keeper in the Serie A last year.
Champions League as well.
Yeah, he is a good goalkeeper. He's having a mental start, but he will come good. But at this stage, TBD for me.
I think that's why I get annoyed at this Ajax. We can't play that way because if you want to get over there where Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool are, you have to have a dominant team, and you've seen it with Arteta. You bring in Raya because he's great at passing the ball. Onana will come good if you get the right system in place, and Man United won't be successful until he's successful. So I would say
TBD. Okay. Next up, big money, Rasmus.
I like him.
I love him.
You weren't sure, were you, Flo?
I'm still not sure, but I can feel that there is brute potential there. He's rough, he's raw, but he is strong and powerful.
A lot of people use that word about raw.
He looks raw.
I don't think he's going to
Haaland
be
looks
goal.
a bit raw.
He's 20, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's young. What are you going to get?
He's young,
but for a 29 number 9 who clearly has a high ceiling and is a problem in the Premier League just because he's playing style, you think that's good money well spent. He hasn't hit yet, hasn't done anything.
They obviously hedge their bets.
Todo Illuminati.
I think at
Atalanta he played like one full season, was it?
Yeah,
But he
and it's worth noting he's of age at Atalanta. I think he scored 1 goal in his first 11 games, and then suddenly I think he was like
from the Emirates Stadium. My name's Guy Mowbray. I'm joined by Steve Smith in the commentary position, and on the way is a squad battles encounter. Always something to savour. It's Arsenal versus Rangers.
so hard.
Cheers, Guy. Well, I'm sure both managers have given them the final instructions. Go out and give it their all. Hopefully, that'll be enough for a positive result. I'm looking forward to this one.
Should we do
To finish us off there.
Okay.
We've got Altay Bayande, we've got Region, and we've got
How Manchester United by the fourth choice left
Well
for
cut out by
Spurs
Petit.
as a solution is
You're gonna get the work going.
Well, I think it's an injury crisis.
You're not having that at all, Flappy,
Looking good. Now, what comes
I
next?
grew up watching that Man United, but that Man United doesn't exist anymore if Reguilon is your first choice left back.
Okay, so are any of these you're actually going to put in anything other than
Arsenal
TBD?
moving the ball forward with
Well,
real
I think
purpose.
that was my thing on
Under
Velasquez, right?
pressure,
He
but the
doesn't
keeper's done
arrive at the
well
club if
to
Velasquez
defuse the
fit.
situation.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's got a long-term
It's an
injury.
injury, it's not fair. So yeah, you're right. Reguilon,
Given away
I
by
think in
Rangers.
time it will be one of these, won't it? You're not going to sign him.
So you said miss, Flabby, you say miss as well?
You've signed someone who you're not going to sign.
Do you think that? I mean,
That's never going to end up being.
Using his
I think.
strength well.
And the other two?
Nedved.
Well, we've not really seen. Amrabat's the interesting one.
Well, we're gonna see him in January.
Arsenal with the ball again.
We're gonna see him
Right.
in January.
With Afcon, if it agrees to
Yeah.
So TBD for now,
Yeah.
right? And then
Amrabat.
30 seconds left, Jimbo.
Okay, Amrabat again. This is
so
on Ten
close,
Hag.
but that will
You
go
get a
down as a
team
miss.
that
I think
plays
he's
and
really
owns the
unlucky.
football and
He's
dominates
done the right
games.
thing.
He
He's
will be a
gone
big
to
part of that.
place
He'll be a
it. I
success.
thought he'd
If
scored
Ten Hag
there.
doesn't put that in place, it'll be a miss. Simple.
Big low fee as well. So
Miss fee.
Agreed. No, I
So we don't know.
TBD.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is confirmation
not many hits in there.
of the hit and misses
James?
and the TBDs
Yeah.
from our three guests for all the Eric Ten Hag signings. Let us know what you
Promising
think
ball.
of that at home.
It's in, and that's a debut goal. Kicking off with his new club in just the right way.
Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Are you ready to improve your future? Earn an AACSB accredited online MBA from HSU. Choose from multiple in-demand options such as management, data science, and more. With convenient 100% online coursework, accelerated faster completion times, flexible 7-week course schedules, and an accreditation by the Higher Learning Commission, you'll see why we're ranked among the best colleges in Arkansas. Go to degree.hsu.edu today to discover which MBA is right for you.
Yeah, do not care.
Hello, welcome to another.
We do not care. Iluminado, todo iluminado. Iluminado. No, this is not it. These boys ain't talking either. But their team lost. Iluminado, todo iluminado. Fuck you, me. Oh, you, me. Está bien. Oh, there's nothing here. Todo iluminado, todo iluminado. Bellingham. Puta, no hay nada. No, de nothing, no hay nada. No hay nada que escuchar. shit. You know how that shit go. You know how that shit go. Hold on. Todo iluminado, iluminado.
I know everything about my new
media hora.
Well, everything except the...
Don't care, girl.
Hello, and welcome back to the Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso, here with my boy.
Self-Data, what's up, guys?
Why is that really his
I had a
name?
great Halloween. I went as Ricky Bobby. It was really, really, really fun. Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Keep the tradition going for a little bit here, but I wanted to actually, bring up an important topic today because some major news.
Iluminado, iluminado. Fue puta.
Saudi Arabia winning the bid for the 2034 World Cup. We hinted at this potentially happening almost in a conspiracy-like way when we were talking about the official nomination of the 2030 World Cup and it going to Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. We talked about, maybe they're setting it up for Saudi Arabia to have it in 2034. Well, the final day to submit a nomination was this week, I believe. And the only other country that was in contention was Australia. And they decided to pull the bid out, thus meaning that Saudi Arabia will be getting the World Cup.
Jodas, bro, grab that shit.
Yeah, man, I mean, based off of all the information that you gave me, you gave the viewers in that episode where you brought it up, I had basically already put in my mind that Saudi Arabia was going to host in 2034. Like, I mean, the amount of money that they have, the amount of money that they're investing into the sport right now, it's all just gearing towards hosting a World Cup. So I'm not surprised whatsoever by this news. I don't think anybody should be. But I saw a really interesting question that was raised, and it's kind of the sentiment that I've been feeling for the last couple of years. And it's the sense that, like, can the World Cup truly ever be hosted in a poorer country nowadays? Like, truly think about that, because I initially brought this idea when it came to CONMEBOL and who they choose to host the Copa America. Because, bro, like, it's just Brazil. Like, Brazil's the only one, and the United States are hosting the Copa America. Like we've been asking, like, is Bolivia ever going to host it again? Ecuador, Chile. And, of course, the answer is no, and it's not because the countries themselves don't want it or that CONMEBOL don't want to pick them. It's just that there's no money. There's no money to put in the infrastructures of those countries to host a big tournament, bro. So it's like, you can extend this
Illuminado.
and you get Saudi Arabia getting the hosting rights. You get Argentina and Uruguay barely co-hosting a Spain-Morocco World Cup. Like, I think it's just going to be like this, where you get a really small country hosting a couple of games in a World Cup, and then it goes to the actual country who hosts it. I think this is just going to be the trend from here on out, man, and that's honestly kind of annoying, because, like, I remember when I first got into the sport, it was in South Africa, and I was just like, oh shit, the World Cup can go anywhere, you know? And, South Africa is definitely probably one of the more better off African countries economically, but even then, it just gave me hope that, like, the FIFA would just choose any country that was willing to host it. But I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I really don't. It's going to be a rich country and then, like, a just smaller country that just doesn't have the capital, and they'll get, like, 1 or 2 games. But I think that's where the FIFA World Cup is trending. It's just going to be one big country, little small country,
like fucking dying.
Games. That's about it, bro. So I'm just not surprised by any of this.
The big talking point about all of this about Saudi Arabia getting the World Cup in 2034, people, accusing FIFA of corruption because of the selection, just kind of how this ended up happening so conveniently. I think I'm just a little annoyed because I think I saw a number 10 countries will be hosting the World Cup
technically in the next 8 years. It's just a little annoying that certain continents aren't able to see an entire World Cup out, such as South America, who will only get a few games in 2030. Africa will only get a couple games with Morocco hosting a few, but they're considering those as official World Cup hosting events for those continents. That's part where I think it is a little corrupt. It's not fair to those countries. They each deserve to have their chance at hosting a World Cup. Like you said, like it'd be great if you saw the 2030 World Cup in Ghana, the 2030 World Cup in Cameroon, bro. Like, or the 2030 World Cup in Uruguay or something like that. Full commitment. I'm here for that, but this convenient selection they had where they combined a bunch of countries and they gave them their opportunity to have their moments but aren't giving them the full opportunity, that's where I do get a little annoyed. On the flip side though, bro, we've talked about this. We've been talking about how Saudi Arabia, going into the 2022 World Cup, has been making moves. And this was before they made crazy transfer window marketing moves, such as, even getting Cristiano Ronaldo, and then this past window going absolutely crazy in the transfer market. Even before that, we've been seeing that they, hired Bernard to lead their national team, which is a very smart hiring. Yeah. The football they're teaching there is somewhat progressive, and they're trying to make a name for themselves on the international and club football stage. And we highlighted that before, and it's why we saw them actually have a somewhat notable World Cup where they beat the goddamn World Cup winners, Argentina, at one point, man. They have a golden opportunity now. In 2034 to build up to a tournament that big, already having a very good league in the Saudi Pro League that already will have so many stars. But not just that, they'll have a genuine chance to kind of emulate and parallel what the USA is doing right now in the build-up to 2026. We saw Lionel Messi come to the MLS, come to Inter Miami 3 years before we get the chance to host the World Cup here in the States. I truly do think that once that 2030 World Cup is over, 2031, it starts building up to it, I could see a guy like Mbappe, I could see a guy like Vinny Jr. potentially making that big money move over to Saudi Arabia to help promote the game the same way Messi's doing it right now, to help build it, to help almost be like an ambassador for the sport and for the tournament. And then you just add all that to culminate in a 2034 World Cup, and we'll have the chance to see a very special World Cup. I just think the way they got it was low corrupt. That's it.
You bring up a great point, bro. They're gonna bring a 45-year-old Messi out of retirement.
I might at this point, bro. They might, bro. I can see it with the money they have. They can get whoever they want. Ronaldo will probably retire by that point, but he will have some sort of role, I believe, because of how he already has basically a home in Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah, dude, a really good point. It makes me think of, when Qatar got awarded
what the fuck, bro?
They had like 10 years to build a program, to get their league going, and to build a competitive team. And honestly, within that 10-year span, I thought they did a pretty good job. You make that same parallel to Saudi Arabia. They now have 11 years to build, and I would say their starting point is way higher than Qatar. Scratch. Yeah, they didn't have an international team essentially. No disrespect, they just really didn't. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the World Cup, and they're competitive. They're very good within their region as well. So,
bro, what is that bullshit?
Keep promoting the game and hyping it up for the next 11 years. I think Saudi Arabia definitely will have an incredible chance to do something very, very special as a host country. So, from the footballing perspective, obviously I love it, man. I mean, any sort of country has never hosted before. Like, how can you not love something like that? So, Saudi Arabia as a country, as a team, definitely has my support. So, I'll be very curious to see what happens in the next 11 years. And, dude, as you said, like, in 2030, they're going to be getting all these big name players, and they're already kind of doing that right now, bro, because, dude, a year ago, I didn't care about the Saudi Pro League. I didn't care. Now every now and then I'm like, okay, well, Nasser won today. That's already a crazy start. So I can really see the Saudi Pro League getting huge over the next 10 years.
Dude, we talked to Saudi fans during the live streams, and we said, bro, if there's one country we're open to getting bought out from, bro, it's Saudi Arabia, man. And so if the show continues on for the next 10 years,
let's move out there.
We'll actually be in Saudi Arabia for the World Cup. We'll have to go.
Move our studio over there and everything.
For real, So we could find ourselves having a home in Saudi Arabia, but then also seeing
just a crazy World Cup in 2034, which is just crazy to project right now, but once the time comes, it'll be incredible to see what Asia can do as a host continent with Saudi Arabia leading the line. So we've talked on the pod about our 3 favorite midfielders, the guys that stand out to us the most in the middle of the field, and we mentioned guys like Modric, De Bruyne, Zidane, and it was a great little video, and it was great to get our thoughts out there about who we like the most in that specific role. But I actually want to move it over to the back line now, and I'd like to hear at least your thoughts as to which defenders stand out to you the most in terms of which ones are your favorite, bro. Your favorite. I can maybe name 1 or 2, maybe a couple athletic players have to be there, but I really don't know which ones you'd ultimately go with. So I'm interested to hear, who are your 3 favorite defenders in world football?
Bro, hearing this question really makes me realize that all the defenders that I really, really admired don't really play anymore. Yeah.
Do you think we're in a bit of a defending drought?
No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if that's true. All I can say is there was a certain type of defender that I really used to fear and that I would hate to play, or if they were on my team, I would absolutely love to have. And in my opinion, I just don't have that same sentiment anymore when I play against an opponent. You know, I'm talking about, like, dude, Sergio Ramos, for example. You asked me this question 5 years ago, I would say, like, I hate the guy, but one of the best center backs I've ever fucking seen. Yeah. Sergio Ramos. And, you know, it's still with Sevilla, but, you know, way past it. Dani Carvajal. Prime Dani Carvajal. One of the scariest fullbacks, one of the most efficient fullbacks the game has ever seen. Come on now. Marcelo, like, good lord, like, the flair that Marcelo had. Honestly, what other fullback even plays like Marcelo nowadays? It's tough to find. You can say Hakimi, but Hakimi's all about pace, you know? It's not really about that flair. Maybe he's just as good, or maybe not, I don't think he is, but there's some elements out there for other fullbacks, but Diego Godin, you know? Yeah. There's just, for me, it doesn't really exist anymore as far as the fullbacks and the center backs that I personally used to admire.
And I will say, defenders, well, center backs specifically, they have a way of having a mystic, mythical aura to them. Especially when you look back at the past, when you look at like the GOAT defenders, they all almost seem like Roman. They seem like part of like Greek mythology.
Nemanja Vidic with Man United.
Paolo Maldini. That doesn't even sound like a real name now. Rio Ferdinand. Like,
yeah, man.
It sounds like gods, bro. But nowadays, you got Chema Jimenez, bro. you got random ass characters, right? And no disrespect, but
can't rely on.
I think a little bit of that mystical nature that they used to have for some reason has kind of just gone away a little bit. We still have some very highly talented defenders, but something's different, and I can't really put my finger on it.
Exactly. It's exactly what I'm trying to say. But if I had to choose 3 favorite defenders right now, and I'll say this before I list them, I don't even know if it's based off of skill or talent. Sometimes it is. And the first one absolutely is, and I'm going to go Virgil van Dijk.
Let's go.
When he joined Liverpool, he was like the first modern defender that made me realize, I was like, oh, okay. You know, you need a really, really good center back. And what he's done with Liverpool, he's completely changed them into a championship winning side. Definitively the best center back when he's on it in the Premier League. And I think he's completely changed the course of Liverpool alone, guiding that entire back line. But beyond that, the attributes that he has on the pitch, dude, he's so calm in every situation. The amount of confidence that gives a fan or a viewer in his teammates, his coach, must be completely priceless. Like, come on. Virgil van Dijk is probably one of my favorite center backs for sure. And I
gotta piggyback on that because we are 1 for 1 right now. He's on my top 3 list 100%, especially as a Liverpool fan myself. Virgil van Dijk to me was the first player where I really understood the term Rolls-Royce defender because I think he embodies it. His stature, his frame, it's royalty in that back line, bro. It's so reliant, it's so consistent, and the peak that he was able to reach, I think, was one of the greatest peaks we've seen out of any defender to ever play the game. Using it as a frame of reference, you could look at the Ballon d'Or nominees and the winners of the past 10 years. Virgil van Dijk finished in 2nd place, bro, in I believe 2018, just a few points behind Lionel Messi. Yeah. If Messi did not exist, Virgil van Dijk would be lifting the Ballon d'Or as a defender, dude. And when you look at the history of this
this award, it's an award that leans heavily towards offensive players. So to be that high up in that list as a defender, as a center back, is remarkable, bro. It's remarkable. And that run he had, injecting himself into that Liverpool backline and then guiding them to back-to-back Champions League appearances, competing for the Premier League against an insanely stout and talented Manchester City. It was Virgil van Dijk, alongside other key players in the Liverpool squad, who were able to lead Liverpool to this insane age of glory that they've had in the past 5 or 6 years. Virgil van Dijk, easily one of my favorite players of all time.
Dude, hell yeah, 100%. And honestly, I feel like any person who does watch football has to have some sort of crazy respect for Van Dijk, similar to the respect that I have for Ramos as an Atleti fan. And I just don't see how you don't like the way that he approaches the game as a center back. But for my second favorite defender currently playing right now, I'm gonna go to fullbacks right now. I'm gonna go fullbacks here. And as I was saying before, there's just nowadays no real fullbacks that kind of embody the players that I used to like Marcelo or my very own Atleti, like Juan Fran, Felipe Luis. Although Samuelino's definitely trying to, but I think I just need to see him play a little bit more before I call him maybe my favorite fullback. And when I look at the others, there's some honorable mentions, bro. Like Di Lorenzo with Napoli is definitely one of them. Achraf Hakimi with PSG, definitely just such a talented fullback. Alphonso Davies, I gotta put him up there as probably one of the more flair, pace-heavy type of fullback.
Though right now, I think that's what it is. There's been a shift in the fullback position,
and for that exact reason, when I really think about it, my favorite fullback, and it's very definitive, I'm going Kyle Walker.
Oh wow!
Like, easily one of my favorite players to watch. And for me, the best fullback right now in all of world football. I just can't really name a better fullback in his position, but that's the point. All the really, really good, pacey, flair fullbacks are pretty young right now. They haven't been able to, have like a 10-year-long career where they have become a definitive best fullback in their position. And so when I look at Kyle Walker, I see a guy who has done that, who has played the game, who has made that role his own and has dominated at it too. So I'm definitely going Kyle Walker is probably my second favorite defender.
That's a fair pick. He's not on my top 3 list. I'm surprised that, or maybe you still have a player there that is from Atleti, but I'm surprised, Felipe Luis didn't get into the conversation.
Oh, so I'm only picking players who are playing right now, sorry.
Right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, then Kyle Walker would be, one of my, if I went current, he would be in my top 3, I think, because I think his personality and his character stands out so much. He's a proud Englishman, but he's so fun to watch. He makes watching the fullback position an entertaining aspect of the game. And when he's going up against the best players in the world, I remember in that England-France match, it was so cool going into the game knowing that Mbappe and Kyle Walker would face off against one another. And just that battle between two giants in their position going head-to-head. And we said it before, Kyle Walker has that ability to shine in those situations and take it to a winger or a striker. So that's so incredible in today's modern game, and he has to be one of the best players in that position in world football right now.
Yeah, dude.
For me personally, I did throw it back a little bit here. I threw it back to the golden era, to the old ages of football, and I got a little personal with it. Yeah. I had to pick a center back for myself, and I think when I look at specifically the teams I support, Liverpool, Chivas, and Mexico, the defensive player that stands out to me the most has to be the legend, the captain, Rafa Marquez.
Oh, yeah.
Marquez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Rafa Marquez. Honestly, I think we took him for granted, bro. A stalwart, an absolute rock in that back line for both Mexico and Barcelona. And what's crazy about Rafa Marquez is that he's one of those few CONCACAF players that was given the responsibility, was given that confidence by the head coach and by the team to solidify himself in a role that oftentimes we'll see CONCACAF players have to make a name for themselves off of the bench. We saw like Pulisic, for example, having to come off the bench, and now he's finally starting for AC Milan. Keylor Navas was on the bench until Iker Casillas retired, and then he was able to get that spot. But Rafa Marquez, from the moment he got that opportunity, coming from Monaco and winning a title in France, goes over to Barcelona, inserts himself into the starting defensive lineup, and he stays there for years, bro, alongside one of the greatest Barcelona center backs we've seen in Carlos Puyol. And just creating an insane duo, an insane pair to guide them to Champions League trophies, to guide them to amazing La Liga title runs, and then participating in these major matches in El Clásico. There was a Mexican, bro, taking part in those legendary matches. And that to me is so rare for for a CONCACAF player and more specifically for a Mexico player overall. So for me, Rafa Marquez is just he's an outlier. And what was an incredible club career with Barcelona, but then matching that with an incredible international career with Mexico, making a shit ton of appearances for us at World Cups and in Gold Cups as well, proving to be a pivotal part of the international team, even when he was like 36 years old, coming off the bench against Germany in that iconic victory in 2018 and providing really solid minutes. Rafa Marquez, until the day he hung up those boots, was a consistent, reliable player. And that's just not something you see often, bro.
Shit, man. Yeah, first off, beautifully put. But I didn't realize how good Rafa Marquez was for Mexico until he was gone.
Yeah.
I really took him for granted. It was a younger Soltero, I'll just put that out there first. But that first game where he definitively just was not going to play for Mexico, I found myself a little nervous as far as we're probably going to concede here. When Rafa, especially 2014 and prior to that, there was a crazy amount of confidence I had in Mexico to be able to kind of defend it. And even if we were to concede, at least I know that Marquez wouldn't make a mistake. And so that having that type of confidence and solidity in just one player who reached the top, the pinnacle of European football, it's something I completely took for granted, way back then. You had added the leadership too.
Captaining Mexico as well. That's something we are in desperate need of right now. A loud voice, someone that can take that role position. Rafa Marquez did it seamlessly for over a decade. And I also think we took that for granted as well. So we're seeing the after effects of what a Rafa Marquez last Mexican squad looks like now.
For real.
Who's your third?
So my third one is completely personal. This is just down to entertainment, who I really love to watch. And it's Nathan Ake.
Whoa.
Dude, I love watching Ake play, man.
Really?
One of my favorite defenders to just watch play the game of football. And honestly, I can't explain it. I just like the way that he tackles. I like the way that he closes down space. He's so versatile too. When he gets on the ball, he's kind of cheeky with it. Not in a flair type of way, not in a skill set type of way, but goddamn it, he's not going to lose the ball.
Yeah.
He's not going to make a bad pass. And when he gets up there and he gets the opportunity to maybe make a cross or get in the box, somehow I trust him. And again, I can't really explain Ake's style of play. All I can say is that it's Nathan Ake, and I love watching the guy play, bro. And honestly, the rest of that Man City backline, I fully trust. There's such talent there, but Ake's just, for me, so fun to watch.
That's good reason to really interesting. Who's that?
Bournemouth? Yes.
Yeah, for like 40 mil, I think he got bought out by Man City. It took him a while, as most Man City players do, coming off of transfers, to get settled in. But then, once he got comfortable, he does have... You got me thinking about the cheekiness of Nathan Ake. It's like a technical cheekiness, like a European cheekiness he has at times. Sometimes he makes some really close passes in the back line where an offensive player is coming for it, but he just can't get a touch on it. And it's little things like that, or getting a header to win a match, or doing little things that are almost like a janitor in that back line, but being good at almost every facet of the defensive game. And being Dutch while he's doing it too, bro.
See, I think honestly his hair definitely plays a part. When I see that guy sprint back to track a defender, I think I just like watching it, man. There's something to it.
It's like the heir to what was his name? Davies, the other Dutchman who wore the goggles. Was it Davies? Lewis? I can't remember the name, but you know who I'm talking about. But in terms of looks, he has to be the heir to that man because he has such an interesting frame and stature to him that stands out so much, bro. Nathan Ake, as your third, that's completely fair. So I tried to go with a personal one, right? Rafa Marquez, and then I added Van Dijk as the current player that I like a lot. But then I wanted to go with a legend, a player that stands out to me that played in the past. Just like on midfield, I went with Zidane. I had to pick one that played, in the 90s and 2000s that I've really liked and kind of wished I could have seen more of live. And I already mentioned him during this conversation. It's Paolo Maldini, bro. Paolo Maldini. The name itself sounds like something that I mentioned before. Maldini. The poster boy for what was the golden era of defenders for Italy. Maldini played 25 seasons. 25 with one single team. That does not happen. It's crazy. In any sport, bro. Yeah, in any sport, that does not happen. Even tennis players change brands or some shit. Like, it does not happen. 25 seasons with AC at their absolute height. He guided them to 5 Champions Leagues, winning 26 trophies in the process and 7 Serie A titles. But what was so dope about Maldini was his versatility. Starting off his career more of a fullback position and playing in what I believe was as a left back, despite being right foot dominant. He was versatile though. He could do it no matter what. He had no problem taking on that role responsibility. And he was offensive. He had flair, he had technical ability, but then he was also very calm and composed, electing to play the game with more elegance and intelligence rather than, chaos and flair. And so he embodied what was a captain, a leader for a footballing team, and he showed it throughout his entire career. His look to me is one of the most insane looks I've seen in football, bro. He could have been a fucking Versace model, bro, with those piercing blue eyes, that long hair, sometimes wearing the headband around it. He just looked like a guy from the medieval ages, man. And then you add on top of that the fact that he represented an institution such as AC Milan. It makes one of the best and one of the most impressive defensive careers we've seen in the game of football. Never won a Ballon d'Or, but he was in the top 3 twice, I believe, throughout his career. He has all the accolades to back up the legend that he is, and so that's a player that I truly wish I could have seen from the beginning of his career, and that we could have covered here on the Give and Go, because I truly believe that if we got to see young Maldini, bro, we'd be talking about this man week in, week out. Think of him almost as like if there even existed a better version of Joshua Gvardiol, bro. Yeah, a guy that can play in that fullback slot comfortably, but that can be an absolute leader for his international team in the center back position. Maldini was that times 10. So I really love everything I see about this guy. Every time I see his highlights pop up, I'm down to sit down and watch him with a glass of wine, because Maldini to me is my third favorite defender.
Yeah, man, I don't know much about him. All I know is that, that name apparently defined a decade of defensive brutality in Serie A. I think he was a really big component of why Italy was, known as incredibly defensive, and he was the best at it back then. So, yeah, that's all I know about him. But, yeah, crazy, man. The amount of trophies that he won, that's like Messi, Ronaldo numbers as far as success. And that's the center back you're talking about. Kind of, you mentioned Virgil van Dijk. I guess that's what he was back then, the guy for 20 plus years. Absolutely insane. I do want to put an honorable. I do want to add an honorable mention here. So this is my favorite defender growing up, Evertonian Leighton Baines. Have to put this in here. My favorite fullback of all time, just as far as what is personal to me. I loved his crossing efficiency, but more importantly, I loved, especially at the time, 2010 type of football. I loved how unafraid he was to play the ball on the ground. He was such a progressive, forward-going fullback, and especially at the time in the Premier League, bro, when it was mainly just get the ball into the box, boot it up forward, or send it across. Leighton Baines really preferred to do little 1-2s with his midfield, and then he would build a play going forward. And that's why he stood out to me so much, because he played a different style of football than the rest of the Premier League was playing. That's what I really enjoyed about Leighton Baines, especially at the time. And that Everton team, just beyond Baines, was also really, really fun. David Moyes, that's what made his career. Tim Howard, exactly. Steven Pienaar.
Where was he from?
He's English.
He's
British, yeah.
He
also had my favorite number, too. He donned that shit. Number 3.
Okay, I don't think I've ever. I think I saw late career.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. I think he was
2015. I remember that.
That was 10, bro.
The end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, that deserves praise. That deserves respect. 100%.
Shout out Baines, baby.
Yes, folks. Please let us know in the comments. I want to know who are your 3 favorite defenders in world football, whether it's current, past, or present. It does not matter. Let us know. The Give and Go boys are interested to hear who your favorite defenders of all time. All right, let's quickly preview some upcoming games this weekend that we're interested in seeing. to me, the highlight, the one that I'm most excited about, is the Copa Libertadores final.
Absolutely.
Between Boca Juniors and Fluminense. The viewers already know where I stand on this one. I'm going all in on Boca because of what I said in the past. To refresh your mind, I said that a Brazilian team would not win the Copa Libertadores trophy this year, and there's an actual chance that might happen. So, I'm going Argentina.
Too bad, boy.
Boca, I hope to see them
Boca no es tu papá.
on the weekend lifting a Copa Libertadores trophy, because I don't think I've actually seen that in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think most people have. I think the last time was, what, 2007 or something?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since Boca have lifted the Copa Lib. What's crazy though, bro, and we already kind of mentioned it when we did the analysis of the semifinals. Both teams, Fluminense and Boca Juniors, really bad form right now in the league. Really bad, man. Like, both of them. Fluminense have lost like the last 3 out of their 5 games. Boca's not getting anywhere near the playoffs in Argentina. Like, it's South American triumph or nothing. Like, it's pretty bad domestically. It'll be a hell of a game though, because both teams know that. Like, to have a chance at a trophy, considering their own personal circumstances, I think both teams are going to go all out. It's going to be a hell of a game.
It's going to be a nervy end to this game. If they do hold on, I think they deserve their win. They played really well and they played good attacking.
And just to kind of go off what you said, imagine in Europe, imagine like Real Madrid and I don't know, Barcelona being the Champions League, but they're both like, not even the top 10 of their leagues. It's sick what we're seeing right now. It's fucking weird. But yes, that is one game I'm looking forward to. Another one I'm looking forward to is actually Newcastle against Arsenal. Newcastle hosting this match. This is the test right here. This is the test for both teams, honestly. If I am to see Arsenal come into this ground and get a result, I think it's massive for them. It will be massive. It's just that string of energy they need to create, winning big games in the Prem and getting tested, this time against a Newcastle team who just got done mollywopping Manchester United in the Carabao Cup today 3-0. So they're feeling themselves in Arsenal, losing 3-1 to West Ham today as well. So I think this will be really interesting to see. And if Newcastle can win it, it'll be major for them, as I'm hoping that they can get to a top 4, top 5 type of finish. So these are the type of games they need to win to get those results.
Yeah, Carabao Cup aside, I think Arsenal are in electric form right now in the Premier League. I think they're slowly finding like a very peak form of themselves, whereas Newcastle, for me, still haven't done enough to prove to me that they could stay consistently that they could perform consistently as a top 4 team in the Premier League, which is why I think I only see Arsenal winning this game. If Newcastle get a draw, I think it'll be hard fought. I don't see Newcastle winning, so I'm going all in on Arsenal beating Newcastle this weekend.
I'm gonna go 2-2. A little bit of a shootout here, draw. I don't think I see Newcastle winning. That result against Dortmund.
What the fucking fuck?
Killed my vibe, bro. Losing 1-0 at home after the way they
hosted
against PSG, bro. I took that as a slap in the face, man. And then another game I'm excited for is Dortmund Bayern. Dortmund Bayern, bro. What do they call it? The Klassiker? What's it? What's the name?
Der Klassiker.
Der Klassiker. But one with a different context than in the past. That's why it stands out to me. Bayern getting knocked out of the DFB Pokal by a 3rd division side today. Insane results. If Harry Kane wants to win a trophy, it's now going to have to be in the Bundesliga or in the Champions League. So, in terms of actually getting a result, this is huge for Bayern, beating a Dortmund team that's in the top 5 right now. And for Dortmund, it's just the classic hosting your rival and trying to get a victory. But the reason it's a different context is because you got Leverkusen at the top of this table right now, guiding it. My beautiful Bayern Leverkusen, led by Xabi Alonso. I'm hoping for a draw here. That's why I'm excited for it, because if they both can draw and slow their roll in the title race, then that gives even more room for a Bayern Leverkusen side who won 5-2 today at DFB Pokal, by the way, to just continue this crazy undefeated run they're on right now in this season and getting more space in the title race to hopefully lift the Bundesliga title.
Yeah, I don't trust any team not named Bayern Munich until proven otherwise, so I'm going Bayern, man.
Last game I'm interested in seeing, I'm going to say Sociedad Barcelona. Sociedad Barcelona, Sociedad hosting this Barca side. And I've said it before, I predicted Real Madrid would win the title this year. I think this will be a big test for Barcelona, because if they once again don't get a result here coming off of an El Clasico loss, and Sociedad, who's been feeling themselves this season a little bit, if Sociedad can get a result, I think it'd be huge for them. Whereas for Barcelona, if they struggle once again, man, that might be tough to come back from this. gap that they'd be creating against Real Madrid. So that's why I'm interested in it.
Yeah, this will be a really interesting game. Sociedad have been phenomenal in Europe, which is pretty strange because it's almost always the opposite way. They're usually terrible in Europe and really good in La Liga. And in La Liga, not to say they haven't been bad because they haven't. They've been pretty good. But I've caught a lot of Sociedad games in La Liga, just, you know, because I got to always look at my enemies here for Atletico. And they go through weird spells in every single game where they just don't look good. And it's enough to get results against very, very poor teams, but against, you know, mid-table teams and up, I see Sociedad as a crapshoot in La Liga. Which is why it gets very interesting because Barcelona are kind of the same way, in the sense that in every game, they have really boring spells where they don't do anything with the ball. So this could be a really telling game as far as who really wants it. If Sociedad can really find that form, I think they have the ability to beat Barcelona. Barcelona's peak is a lot higher than Sociedad's though, so if they find that peak, as they occasionally do, they will easily beat Sociedad. So honestly, I see this game as not quite 50-50, but pretty close to it. I'm going to give it a little bit in Barcelona's favor. But yeah, I mean, I don't expect an easy win, but at the same time, don't expect Sociedad to have a good performance because they might not.
Might not. Yeah. Might not. Yeah, this is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. I could see a 1-0 Barca win.
Yeah,
I could see a 1-0 Barca win. And then the last result, actually, just to have some fun, Las Palmas Atletico is happening on Friday. Mm-hmm. This feels like the type of game where Atletico drops points. Like they're on some bullshit, bro.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I felt the last 3 out of 7 games we should have lost points in La Liga, and we're not dropping them. We're not dropping them. Las Palmas will provide no different challenge than we've seen the last month. So I actually see us winning this, which is crazy. Like, I need to see us actually succumb to our some sort of bad luck to see us lose right now in La Liga, because right now we're on a crazy wave of really good performances mixed in with a good amount of luck. And it's not ending. That's the thing, especially in La Liga. So for as feisty and as weird as the Las Palmas game on the road might be, I see us winning. I see us beating him, bro.
I'm gonna say a little surprise result here on like a classic athletic bullshit.
Hello everyone from North London, the Emirates Stadium. I'm Guy Mowbray and I'll be joined for commentary by Sue Smith, the former England forward. And we should have a cracking contest here. It's Arsenal, and they take on La Furia Roja.
We're winning again. I'm saying they're must-watch TV right now. Funny enough, they really are. I've caught so many of their games because they're winning like crazy. Griezmann is cooking this season. Atleti might be onto something. Still not fully sure.
Baby Pele. And it's an early lead. A terrific start.
You were made for this.
For going places?
However you decide to get there. Made for the kind of friends
Give me a hand.
who live for friendly competition.
Oh, a zebra?
Made for seeing where life takes you. Made for sharing memories.
Maybe not that one.
You were made for this, and we were made to be right there with you.
So off we go at 1-0.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
And how this goal stands in the
This
Premier
goal.
League, the best league that we say is the best league in the world. We really have to think about this deeply. Because I've been 20 years in this country and now I feel ashamed.
Ashamed.
An absolute disgrace. You look it on the TV, it's an absolute disgrace.
Is it the process that's at fault, or the people in charge of the process?
Promising looking attack
Is nowhere near the level that this league needs to
Bigger
have.
try.
That feels like
The effort
more
shut
than just
out.
any old win, that one.
Well, yeah, it does, because I think the circumstances around it, you know,
Here
we're
it comes.
suffering a
It's
bit of
at the
bad luck
bar.
at the minute. You know, we're
And
losing
a
players.
great stop to turn the
but
ball
the response
away.
of the players that we do have that are fit and available
Well,
has
so
been incredible.
unlucky
And
not to be level in
I think
this
you
one,
can see from the
guys.
spirit at the end, the
Great
determination to
effort,
hang on
but
to our
you
lead.
just wonder if they're going to look back
From
on that
everybody, the
now.
collective effort was superb.
A tackle on one of your players at the end of the first half. What was your verdict on that?
Sloppy in possession from Arsenal.
Potentially high, but I've only seen it with my sort of naked eye, not with any replay. But no, it wasn't given. I thought it was. I didn't think it was a difficult game to referee, but in the end, it sort of looked that way.
The goal comes, moments after you moved into the central striker's role. Tell us about the goal and tell us, was there any angst as the delay went on
That's
and
been
three
won
things were
really
checked?
smartly.
Gaffer's a genius, and he put me there. We've been having some jokes about playing number 9, so it's just good to see that pay off. And like you said, the goal was carded really. I was just hoping I hadn't celebrated too quick, and then it got pulled back, and I'm delighted that it got put through.
That was a hard-earned win. Is that possibly the most satisfying 3 points of the season so far?
Something happening is over.
Yeah,
there's a chance for them to go now.
I think it was a really tough game. That was a really
and on they go.
I think for both teams. I don't think just for us.
And they scored again. That puts them further in front. What a position to be in.
That's making it even more difficult. But full compliment to the players that stepped up today.
Is that the longest VAR check of your career?
Well, it was. I thought it was initially for potentially a foul. I didn't think it was a foul, but potentially Jolinton off the back of, I think it was Ben White, I'm not 100% sure.
Mitoma.
But that's all I could see that possibly wrong.
Got
And
it
of course,
back
there was the three checks.
The football out, then offside, then a foul.
Yeah, and thankfully none of them were pulled up on.
It was a niggly game, and I suppose you could argue both teams may be lucky to finish with 11 players. Is that fair?
Could be a chance.
To be more specific, first, I thought the Kai Havertz one was questionable, and Sean Longstaff looked a bit dangerous.
Well, that's why I was hesitating, because for me that was the only moment in the game where I could see a red card, but you might tell me differently, but that's the only moment I could see. There was a lot of needless yellow cards. I don't think
any potential danger.
I don't think there was that many.
And the keeper just about able to deal with the danger.
I don't think that many bad ones. But it became very bitty, a lot of stop-start, a lot of controversial moments, and I didn't think it needed to be there.
Yeah, the other one, I mean,
there's good width for this attack now.
Jorginho running past him, hard to say if there was any intent there. I don't know if you saw that.
It's in!
I'm not being...
What the fuck?
And they're not out of this game yet.
That's why I say you might tell me differently.
He's got a yellow card anyway, so he'll be suspended next week for
Go as a team, make it so difficult for the defence to get out, and then once they win it back, they're so clinical. It's a lovely goal.
We can't afford to lose anybody through suspension with the injuries that we have.
Really well won.
Yeah, we can't change it, it's done, so we'll have to worry about that when it comes round.
A couple of players who came on, it was another really mature play from Tino Livramento today.
Yeah, I thought he did very well. It was a difficult game to come into. Arsenal were good today. We know they're a top team, and they controlled the ball for elements of the game. Martinelli's a big threat on that side of the pitch, especially when Zinchenko came on. That gave them a nice balance on that side of the pitch, so we had to defend well off our right-hand side. Tino was fundamental to that.
Jacob Murphy's so unlucky with the shoulder, but then for Matt Richards to come on, I wasn't really expecting to be involved today and to perform like that. He must be really pleased.
Can they take advantage?
Everyone has to be ready.
Played into the box.
To know their job, so
It's in! 2 to the good. That little bit of buffer. And it's just a matter of keeping concentration now.
That goes to show the spirit of the squad.
Just final one, how pleased should everyone be? A couple of times in the last few games you've had winning positions and slipped to draws to hold out today to pick up that win.
Euro is on fire.
Promising looking attack building from Arsenal. And the goalkeeper keeps him out on this occasion.
Yeah, he wasn't far off from getting a second. He does look lively, and you can see that he wants more.
When you're leading against these types of teams, that was a real test for us with 20 minutes to go. As I say, our limited resources currently with a lot of players out injured.
And nothing coming from their play in the end.
We're good enough. And
Miguel, I suppose the key moments of that game was the goal, 3 VAR checks.
Influential in the first 45 minutes. What have you made of his performance, Sue?
Yeah, he played well, hasn't he? Obviously took his goal well, but his overall performance has been impressive too. Hopefully he can maintain that level in the second half.
For 2 or 3 reasons. It's embarrassing.
It was a niggly game. Were you frustrated with the officials generally? Could they have gotten top of it earlier?
Doesn't matter. It was a great game of football.
Able to get a body in the way.
A really tough team against a really good team, and we tried our best, and I think we performed at a really high level. We should never lose again.
Did you deserve to get something out of the game?
We'll have a go here. Well, I'm sure he thought he'd scored there. Great goalkeeping. Played into the box.
You have to talk about the result because you have to talk about how the hell this goal stand up, and it's incredible. I feel embarrassed, but I have to be the one now coming here to try to defend the club.
Another goal. What a scoreline this is for
ask
them.
for help, because it's an absolute disgrace.
Disgrace.
It's allowed. It's an absolute disgrace. Why? Because it's not a goal. For many reasons, it's not a goal. For more than one reason, at least, it's not a goal. And and it's too much at stake here. We put so much effort. It's so difficult to compete at this level, and it's an absolute disgrace. Again, I feel embarrassed. I've been more than 20 years in this country, and this is nowhere near.
Either he said he hasn't seen a decision like this or whatever, I don't know. Look, he's furious about it.
Does he have any thoughts about the lack of chances created yet again? And how about he mentions that, because if that goal's not allowed, it's 0-0. Is that what he wanted? Is that what he played?
And I think there's a lot we need to cover, from the players to the manager setup to lack of fluidity to the decisions in the game. So why don't we just get this refereeing thing out of the way? Because I don't think me and you are, from what I've heard in my fan camp,
and it shows great ability to get past his mind, but then there's still plenty to do, to be fair.
I don't think we're sitting here feeling the word robbed, if that makes sense. I think some pretty shit decisions were made, but I don't think they... I have bigger concerns, if that makes sense, about what went wrong today for Arsenal.
100%. No need to worry. And if Arteta's focusing on that, then he's not focusing on the right thing. Because that can happen. We know that can happen every week. But something that we've seen all season, or I've seen all season, is a lack of chances created, a lack of fluidity, a lack of a cutting edge in the final third. And it was evident yet again today, both prior to the goal and after the goal. So whether you think, I heard you say it's harder to score after you concede, and you are right, because teams, especially in the last 15, 20 minutes, are going to set up defensively, but I used to expect waves of attacks. It's not waves.
You expect something that makes them last ditch, something that makes them sweat.
Getting out of the box, and somebody's on the line sometimes. We're not doing that. We're failing to apply pressure in games. In the final third, we can apply pressure off the ball quite well. That's one of the great attributes we have as a team, our pressing. But on the ball, we're failing to pressurize most defenses who play the game.
So I knew we'd get a lot of this. Here we go. Thomas Oliver says, James, what are you on about? We got robbed. Jay Bravery says the ball's out of play. The ball isn't out of play. beIN Sports actually did manage to recreate over the line, along the line, look at it. People need to stop seeing a gap between ball and line and think that it's out of play. The ball might not be touching the line. It just has to be in line with it. So a ball will be like this. So there's the line. So the ball might not be touching it, like you roll it on, but it's still in line with it, and so it might still be in play. So I don't think we can be too frustrated about that one. Some people say it came off Joe Linton's arm, or there's an offside. Again, I don't know. The offside, I'm not sure about. I don't really see what they were exactly looking for in the offside there. The handball off Joe Linton, again, I'm not. I didn't see any clear angle of that. The one thing I think Arsenal have a real play at is pushing the back from Joe Linton to Gabriel. Something, and I can't explain why, I don't know why, something tells me that it is a bad decision. The goal should be disallowed. I do think it's a foul on Gabriel. But a little part of me thinks that when you've got last week Højlund and the Rodri one, given, then that means that this week's one should definitely be disallowed. It's definitely a foul. But I've seen so many where there's always pushing or hands, or sometimes players. I'm not sticking up for Joe Linton here, by the way. Sometimes you have your hands on the back for distance, like to measure distance between a player, or to hold your ground. And something, for whatever reason, and before everyone goes nuts in the comments, I do think it's a foul, but we need to remember that a lot of these decisions are looked at as, is it a clear and obvious error? And I think it is, but the fact that I'm saying I think it is suggests that there's a little bit of wiggle room there for VAR to basically allow it and say, well, we don't want to disallow goals. The problem is that they've gone so against that with other decisions that it just leaves me confused. I really am confused about it all.
I'll be honest with you, James. I'm tired of talking about referees and VAR. And Arsenal fans, come on.
Let me know.
Okay, no, but if we did get robbed, though, let's say we got robbed. Okay, cool. cool. Let's start off at this. We've been robbed of 1 point.
The final whistle. A positive result, at least as far as the home fans are concerned. Sid, what did you make of that performance?
Again,
Dominant performance. You couldn't be given from an attacking perspective. Created lots of opportunities and some good finishes.
For me, the Guimaraes one is an obvious red card.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that, but it wasn't given. It was 0-0, and we failed to create chances. That is, for me, the bigger problem, because I can't tell you next week if the referees are going to be any better. I can't, and in all likelihood, the evidence will tell you no. But I can tell you that compared to last season, Arsenal are failing to create as many chances. Arsenal are failing to excite. Arsenal are not fluid in the transition. Arsenal are not cutting edge in the final third. Why? That's what I'm more interested in talking about and finding out from Mikel Arteta than speaking about the referees and the worst decision in 20 years. No, we saw the worst one 3 weeks ago at Liverpool-Tottenham. So let's not dwell on it. Let's talk about the reality of the situation, and that's our team is not flowing like it did last season. And before today, the common clapback to that or pessimism for me was we haven't lost a game in the league this season. Well, now we have lost a game. How about we look at it like this? We've lost 3 games this season.
Yeah. 5. Wow.
It's the beginning of November. We've lost 3 games. Yeah. It's not unbeaten in the league, so everything's rosy. Yeah. We've lost 3 games, 1 in all competitions so far. We've been in 1 costing us, Carabao Cup. And there was much debate about what the Carabao Cup was worth. Now, if you follow up a heavily rotated side and the next in the Carabao Cup with that, which was a loss, and when we delve into the performance, I'm gonna give them credit. It was controlled, composed, and calm away at St James Park. That was the pros. But we failed to turn that into anything else. Like XG come the end, and here I am, me talking about XG. Because the same people that will clap back at me and call me pessimist and negative and moaning are the same people that will use XG. So look at our XG, we 0.5. We did nothing to win that game, and really and truly, you said before the game, gun to your head, you take a point now, would you do it? We both said no, because we both thought we can win the game. And when you see how composed, controlled, and calm we was in that first half, we had the platform to win it, but the attack let us down. Because there is the attack, there's no chemistry. Forget fluidity. I'm going to use the word chemistry for the next 7 weeks. I'm tired of using it.
Chemistry is a good word. Okay. Touch of Awesome Super Chat says Arteta popping off. Love that pressure. Love that passion. Poor game though. Okay, so fine. You want to focus on the performance. I think the performance is a really weird one for me. I'm not going to sit here and say it was good. But I do think Arsenal, and you've actually said it yourself, they deserve credit for calming down, getting the ball on the floor, playing, and like you say, giving a good platform. I think everyone's going to look at how Arsenal got better or worse on last season. I think defensively we're legitimately better defensively. I think Saliba, Gabriel today were fantastic. I don't think Jorginho did anything wrong really. I thought Declan Rice was outstanding, and the platform there was good. Like, they did their thing to subdue the Newcastle midfield, who resorted to kicking and fucking forearming and everything. And Arsenal then had to look to Havertz, Martinelli, Saka and Nketiah to play. And it doesn't go further than me just saying this once and then leaving it before we go on to the main analysis of it. I think they all tried, legitimately. I don't think any of them shirked the... I don't think any of them crumbled to the pressure. I don't think any of them looked like they didn't want it. I think they all tried. But there was a real lack of quality in the game today. When we got in and around their penalty area, there was such a lack of knitting things together, 1-2s, combinations, patterns of play to fall back on, balls delivered into dangerous areas, through balls, shots that actually hit corners, so at least asking questions of Pope. There was nothing that was like, as much as I don't think we deserve to lose this game, we can't feel aggrieved about it either, unless you want to focus so much on the refereeing stuff. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. That's why it is weird. It is a weird one because it looked like the platform we had created for ourselves in the first half would lead to us getting, at the bare minimum, a point from the game.
Yeah.
But then the second half comes, and as much as it was a bit of the same old from Arsenal, which was, controlled and composed, it was essentially doing nothing with it when you come to a zone on the pitch where, you either take this risk or you pass left and right and then reset. We kept on passing left, right and resetting. And then 2 times before Newcastle scored, we were caught out. 2 quick passes and Newcastle were onto us. One of them led to Ben White making a last-ditch block, and the other one, I think, petered out. But those are the warning signs. Listen, You know, as much as, you know, we're going more on the front foot, we're failing to create any chances by doing that in the second half, and we're exposing ourselves defensively a little bit. 2 warnings, third time lucky for Newcastle, albeit with a great decision that I'm not going to dwell on. But we didn't look at those warning signs and do anything about it. We conceded a goal. And to be honest, I'm talking about everything, but it's just pissing me. We conceded a goal, and our first attacking substitution is Zinchenko. Like, I'm sorry, but like, maybe I probably am a dinosaur, but fuck me. Imagine in 99 or 2002 or like 2004, you need a goal and you bring on a left back or a right back. I don't give a shit about the inverted stuff. Like, please, like, don't you have any attackers you trust? Attackers, not someone who inverts into attack. Don't you have any attackers you trust to come on right now and give us something? Not Zinchenko.
Yeah. Well, what's more scary is that 400 million pounds later, the first 11 to go and win the league was built over a year ago. It was the end of the summer of 2022. That 11, Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus. That team went 50 points at the halfway stage. It was on a 100 point pace. It could win the title, but we knew there were questions about depth. Saliba gets injured, Holding comes in, Jesus gets injured, and Nketiah still questions. You know, we didn't have any depth out on the wings. Since then, new deal for Nelson, Trossard signed, Kai Havertz signed, Jorginho signed, and then you've had another year of Fabio Vieira, and you look at these players going, Mikel, like, have you helped out that? Because people are going to go in on Saka and Martinelli. I struggle to do that because they are 2 22-year-olds who have given us so much over the last 2-3 years, and we haven't adequately added depth. Now, some people might say Trossard. Listen, Trossard isn't like for Martinelli. For me, he's closer to Jesus. Yeah. There's more depth there. So I think what Arteta needs to look at, while he's furious about the refereeing and all that, look, I understand the anger towards it. I do think they had a bit of a disaster.
A carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelley, for instance. A carrier Douglas unit made...
But why could you not do anything from the bench? I disagree. I don't hate the Zinchenko thing. Zinny's got the ability to throw the ball through an eye of a needle. I think that's a risk worth taking. Ben White switched off on the goal. I'm okay with that. But why is there nothing else? Saka didn't do anything today. Why couldn't you turn to a Reece Nelson?
But you know what Zinchenko does? The eye of the needle stuff and all of this stuff, that is from the latter part of the defensive third into the first part of the midfield phase, yeah? Mm-hmm. The problem was the fucking final third, James. So how does Zinchenko help the final third, aside from being another body there to pass to?
Well, look, listen, we don't need to go back and forth over Zinchenko. I do think
it's the decision to bring him on, not the player itself. That's why everything for me today is on Arteta. Whether we want to talk about Raya's mistake, whether we want to talk about the lack of chances created, is Eddie a sufficient backup to Jesus? Has Havertz done anything since signing for the club? Is Jorginho sufficient backup to Partey? All of these questions lead back to Mikel. He's the only one that can answer these questions.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's get callers in. I know a lot of people have a lot to say. Help us make sense of it. Who's our first caller joining us? Hey, Deanie, how you doing, mate?
What's going on, James? What's going on, Turkish? Bless up. Sadly, but not surprisingly, it was coming. I believe it was coming. Interestingly, before the game even started, I was watching the stream. And I was watching your face, Turkish. I was actually watching your face. And amongst everything, it's not that you were saying anything or doing anything crazy. It just looked like you were about to watch a game where you'd seen something that's already coming, basically. It's almost like you already saw it was either going to be a 0-0 or we were going to lose. And I took that on, and I felt that because everything, even leading up to this point, the transfer window, the games, the lack of fluidity, everything coming in, and the fact that there was no Odegaard today, there was no Jesus today, I was looking to, okay, where are we going to get the creativity today? We got an out-of-form Havertz in there. We got Jorginho there, who's not really meant to be creative, he's meant to be sitting and dictating the play. So I'm thinking it's either going to come from Rice, who was the best midfielder on the pitch today, or Saka or Martinelli, who, like James alluded to, our youngsters. There wasn't enough in the team or from the team today to get the win. Yes, the goal was very contentious and we could go backwards and forwards. I don't really want to talk about that because that is out of our control. What is in our control is the fact that Arteta doesn't trust players like Vieira or Nelson to come in and change the game, because I was even thinking, why was Zinchenko the first substitution to come in when we actually need something in the attacking third? There was nothing there today. There was no hard-up play. It wasn't great from Nketiah out there again today. It's inconsistent. In January, we need to go for that striker that is an upgrade on Nketiah, because there's just nothing there. We can't keep, and it's the fact that we have to keep relying on Jesus and he's injury prone. These players are injury prone, and the fact that we could have addressed this in the summer, it wasn't enough. We could have brought Madison in the summer for that Havertz money. We could have brought Kudos, who scored another great goal today, who could have came on in this game to give us something, probably in the final third where we were struggling. It's annoying, it's very annoying. Some 50-50 I'm with Arteta with his press conference reaction and the fact that he's come out and said what he said. I agree with all of that, but at the same time, he is the reason why this has happened today.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm saying.
We're having video problems, Deanie, so but we are able to hear you. So, just to clarify on some of those decisions, was it a red for Bruno for you and should the goal be disallowed?
He gets the yellow card in the second half or something similar, and he should have had a yellow in the first half at minimum for it. So yeah, it should be a red. It should be a red, absolutely. And I don't think it's a goal. I think the ball goes out of play. It does hit Bruno's arm when it comes in. When the ball does come in, it does hit his arm. So even that's another thing you can add on to the context of whether it went out of play, or whether it was offside, or whether it was a Gabriel push foul, or whether it was handball. There was at least 4 things in that phase of play that could have chalked up the goal. And then I looked on Twitter and I thought, you know what, let me just take off my Arsenal hat for a second and see what everyone else was saying. Everyone else was practically saying we were robbed and this, that, and the other. I don't want to say that because, again, I want to focus on what we're doing, and what we're doing is not enough. But at the same time, yeah, it's a tough one to take. We didn't do enough to win the game. Did we deserve to lose? I'm not sure, but we didn't do enough to win.
I don't think we deserve to lose. I think that's what hurts. I think it hurts that, like, a contentious decision, fine margins went against us in the game. I actually thought we did quite well. I don't think this was some hanging on job from Arsenal either. I think we really nullified them, but we've been quite good at nullifying, yet being quite nullified ourselves. Dee, big thanks for joining us, mate. Always a pleasure to chat.
I'm Carter Shearer, and the Katie Cup is officially here, and there's a whole lot of prizes up for grabs. Will you be...
Take care, lads.
Thanks, man.
Hello everyone from North London, the Emirates Stadium. I'm your commentator Guy Mowbray, joined by Sue Smith, and we should have a cracking contest here. It's Arsenal, and they take on County.
Cheers, guys. Great to be here. I think it's important that both teams are focused from the off there when they start quickly. But I'd love to see some goals.
Download the 80 Plus app, come call us and
it.
then talk to us about the performance. Red Square says Liverpool get robbed by VAR. They pile the pressure on the PGM as well. We get robbed by VAR, we pile the pressure on our own team. We took off standards for a lot for the club. Where are our standards as fans? Red Square.
It was always going to be a red. They'll have to readjust now.
The VAR officials said, yes, it's a Liverpool goal, and then they played on with the goal not standing. You cannot compare the two incidences. Liverpool were also down to 10 men and created more against Tottenham than we did in terms of clear-cut chances than we did against Newcastle. So there was a performance there that at the very end of it, Liverpool fans were utterly proud of. Now, I'm not saying I'm not proud of my team and my players. I actually think fair play to them. They all showed some heart. They all showed some commitment. They got stuck in. They didn't get bullied by Newcastle. I know the narrative that will run. Oh, St James's Park, they bully you there, it gets too much for teams. That didn't happen to Arsenal. That did not happen. But also, we're the more expensively assembled team that challenged the title last season. So what did we bring to Newcastle? It's all well and good us talking about how we stopped them and what we did. What did we to stop them? What did we do to actually cause them problems? So you've got to look at it both ways. There are things we did well in this game, in fact very well in this game, but we lost, and there was plenty we didn't do well. I don't know if you want to comment on that, Super Show.
You said it all. Yeah, I agree completely with what you just said there.
Right, we've got Robbie joining us. Robbie, how are you doing?
forward with real purpose.
Yeah, all good. Carry on.
Yeah, very disappointed. Obviously, let me just back up because the guy you can see behind me, Cecil here.
Yeah. Well, it was a decent attempt, but it's been placed just wide.
St James's Park, but yeah, really disappointed. You know what I mean? I thought it was a game that was very, very close, a game of really tight margins.
Anderson.
And I'm yet to, you know, I'm just saying to the guys, those Newcastle guys, so I've never seen somebody get three lives in one.
Jude Bellingham.
You know, 3 VAR decisions and all
that's been seen as a foul. Free kick.
Yeah. But mind you, have you watched them back, Robbie?
No booking, but it is a firm warning there.
Yeah, I like how the ref
Nah, we've still got you. Have you watched the decisions back?
Sorry?
Have you watched the decisions back?
Take the Gabriel player down to go from that distance. It ended up nowhere near.
That was way off target.
I've seen the first one, I've just seen like some things on Twitter with the ball going out. I know it's very hard to judge those ones, but
the defence.
To me, it looks like the ball was clearly out. But, you know, I don't know.
Okay, fair. What did you make of Arsenal's performance? Because once again, they just... I think we did some good things, but we struggled to create anything.
It was exactly, we didn't create enough. It was a physical battle, it was a war. We were up for the battle, you know, we thought Declan Rice was brilliant, Sadiq was brilliant. We were up for the battle, you know what I mean? We didn't get bullied, but the problem was, you know what I mean, it's a game with small margins, and the small margin went to Newcastle. I think probably a draw would have been a fair result, but the small margin went to Newcastle. We didn't get you know, during the week we was all saying we could have done with VAR to get us that first goal, which I didn't think should have stood against West Ham, and then today now, three VAR decisions against us, but yeah, it really disappointed.
Delivered into the box. And that
shame about the result,
away.
but I know you guys got some good content from out there. Hope you enjoyed the trip despite the result.
And County regained possession.
You guys have seen it back. What was it then? Were those bad decisions or?
Go on, Turkish, on it.
What, to buy Kai Havertz and leave Eddie as a backup? Yeah, it was bad decisions. Because that's the decision.
Yeah, I mean,
well, not the easiest of saves, but you'd expect him to probably stop that.
Well, just listen to that roar. It's been quiet for a while, but this is a chance. And they're struggling to push the team to take the lead.
He didn't get no service either. It weren't
Put into the middle, and the keeper has it to avert the
danger.
danger.
He was playing in that 10 position. I wanted to see him create something, and I didn't see that happen at all. And I'm really starting to worry about Kai Havertz. I really am. This is starting to look like this is a bit of a poor decision. But but I'm on about the free VAR decisions.
The Guimaraes one is a Stonewall red card. I think.
Oh gosh, I saw that one. That's a red.
For me, that's the worst of the lot. Like, how on earth they've seen that and not given a red is absolutely beyond me. But they're a disaster. They're a joke. My take on the goal, I think it is a foul. I think it is.
Not stopping him yet. Bellingham. Nothing about that was right. That's a bad miss.
As you can see, the stats say it all. Neither side have
I
had
don't
enough
think
quality
we've
in
been
the last
completely robbed that they gave it. Just because if you're going into nitty gritty, Gabriel got quite a low stance when he's coming into it. Like, I think he's pushed, but I don't know. It's a foul for me. Like, if I'm trying to be as neutral as possible, I genuinely would give it as a foul. But I do think also when you go into the whole clear and obvious thing, which they talk about, I don't know if it was clearly and obviously a terrible decision.
It looked clear and obvious to me. Two hands in his back.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes. Look, you know what? Arsenal's just going to get on to me for trying to defend it. Look, I think it is a foul. But I don't feel totally robbed by that one like I do other ones. And I don't know if that's a performance.
So away we go then.
I think that was in. Apparently being Sports did a thing and showed like basically a VAR style thing and showed it was in. But
is that Richard Keys in it? No, I'm not. I'm not taking it.
To be fair, well, they also said it was a foul on Gabriel, so you know, whatever. But Ben White switched off a little bit on the goal. David Raya coming out and you know missing the goal as well. Arsenal can have their parts to play in that goal as well. Like,
just not enough to prevent the goal.
Even without Joelinton fouling Gabriel, I kind of think that might end up in the back of the net. Like, I don't know.
I don't think so, no. I think if he doesn't foul him, I don't think he then gets the head to ball back across.
Maybe not.
For it to happen. So I wouldn't say that. As I said, it weren't that we come up here and got bullied. We didn't, it was a game.
What a way to endear yourself to the fans.
And we come out on the wrong side for 7 weeks from Robbie L.
Always a pleasure, Robbie, mate. Enjoy
All right, cheer up, Turkish. Cheer up, Turkish. You ain't got to drive about 7 hours, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Very true.
See?
Very true. 7 hours.
Don't forget to pay that
It's a 3-goal lead. Almost guaranteed.
I've got that bit.
3-0 now. The lead ever more commanding
Let's get
as
to
they
the
start the
next
game.
quarter and let's get through. Let's get chatting to you all. Get your thoughts.
Who's that? Curtis Shaw TV.
Yo.
It is Curtis. How you doing? Hey, can you hear us?
Oh, nice vision in that
No, I
pass.
can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't hear
And they've
us.
scored again. It's
I
become
can
a
now. I
question.
can now.
Go for it, Curtis. Talk to us, man. How you feeling?
Bro, like, a week's a long time in football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Beat Sheffield United last week, were high flying. Do you know what it is for me? And maybe I'm looking at the bigger picture too much, but
Of just how
it
many
kind
they'll
of
get.
feels like last year we had the spine of the team.
And away we go
And we just
again.
needed
It's
to add
4-0
those
now.
missing pieces in the window. And we've tried to address that, and we've got some of them pieces wrong, obviously, with Havertz is not working. And,
Looking good.
and
Now
then
what comes
the
next?
problem now,
Went for it. And
it
it
feels
wasn't a
like
bad
parts of
try.
the spine are falling
He
apart
hammered
as well,
just wide.
because Partey's come out, Jesus has come out, you've disrupted the goalkeepers, and to me, I don't know about anybody else, like, I don't feel at the moment like Raya looks like a definite upgrade on Ramsdale. There are certain parts of his game. Yeah, you look great on the ball, you're calm, you can make a pass. The fundamental of a goalkeeper is, can you save shots, can you catch crossers, keep the ball out of the net. So it just, I don't know, last year it's like we took a big step forward. It feels like we've almost took 2 steps back.
Yeah, I feel that way. Turkish.
He makes a good point, you know, because that's a good way to put it. Last season, when you look at, essentially you're saying the same thing I say, we were taking 2 steps back to potentially go 4 steps forward. You know, we pulled our hamstring at the end of last season and they reconstructed our spine. That's what I'm saying. Like, they pulled the hammy at the end, they needed a little bit of a massage, a little bit of a rest, a little bit of, you know, spray it up a little bit and going into the next season. Nah, we've come in with a scar on our spine.
Yeah.
So he makes a good point. Because that's what frustrates me the most about it.
Curtis, everyone's talking about it. Arteta's lost his head about the officiating. How do you feel about that?
Delivered into the middle.
Listen,
And it's
like,
a great goal.
VAR in this country is just not working,
any
not the
better.
actual product, the people
And
using
off we
it.
go again with
The
the
goal
gap now
itself,
a full 5-0.
I mean, like, I saw that same thing you've seen on me in sports, and they basically saying the ball was in.
Felipe Anderson.
At the time when I saw it, I thought it was definitely out, but, maybe it wasn't. I thought it was a push on Gabriel.
Yeah.
Gabriel has this thing sometimes where, rather than being strong and winning the ball, he looks for the free kick. I'm not saying that's what happened. I do think that because it's led to a goal, I think there's enough to give a foul. I actually think the worst decision is the Bruno red card is bigger than the goal for me.
Excellent work from the keeper to deny a promising looking attack.
He should have been booked about 4 times, but...
Just look for the mobile exclusive tag on thousands of hotels. How many subscriptions are you paying for? Rocket Money finds sneaky or forgotten subscriptions and makes canceling them as easy as clicking a button. On average, Rocket Money users save over $720 a year. Here's how it works. Just open the app, go to the reoccurring tab, and here you can see...
It may come across wrong, and people will jump on me in the comments for this. I'm one of these people, I'm like,
control the controllables. If things happen outside of your control, you can't do anything about that. My biggest problem today is I never felt for 1 minute like we were winning that game today. We had one shot on target, was Martinelli shot in the first half that was straight at him. We had the Declan Rice header from about 14 yards out. They won every header from every cross. We don't shoot from outside the area.
Well, he thoroughly deserves the match ball. When he's in that sort of form, not many
we were
teams
probably the
will be
most
able...
enjoyable team in the league to watch, even as an Arsenal fan. I think until the end, when City took over, we were the best team. And this season, we just look like the style of football's gone. Saka the last month has just disappeared. He can't beat his fullback. He looks predictable. Martinelli the same. Odegaard's been poor. And Ketia for me makes us worse. I don't think Jesus makes players around him better. I don't think Eddie does. Eddie's very one-dimensional. I'm trying to score and nothing else. And then you're looking at Havertz, Jorginho, Fabio. You know, them three cost 112 million. I don't think any of them have really pushed us forward as a club. I just think if this manager's going to continue, he's got to make some cutthroat decisions with people. He's got to go to that board in January and say, listen, I might have got this Havertz one a little bit wrong, but you've got to buy me a striker for 70, 80 million, or I can't even compete with the league. The City are top, and De Bruyne hasn't kicked a ball for him. But how are we going to bridge that gap without spending?
Yeah. They fucked up with that signing, man. Because for once, I'm not looking at the owners. For once, they've done enough. So
he's drunk in.
So it's not even that. It's not even that. Trust me, don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
You don't do that, my guy. If I want you in Orlando, yeah, she will hit the fan.
It wasn't all on camera.
Don't worry, it's here, bro. It's here. You certainly trusted the process. You scarred for life.
That was in phase 12. We're in phase 58 now.
That's true, actually. That's true. No, but for once, I can't blame the owner's case. And you're right. Like, in January, ideally, he goes to the board and says, I fucked up with Havertz. But imagine the first year, I don't look at the owners, yeah. He goes midway through the season and says, I fucked up with this one. I wouldn't be surprised if the owners say, oh, sort it out yourself, mate, because why did you also keep Smith Rowe and Eddie? Why did you give Reece Nelson a new contract? Why did you do these things if you don't rely upon them when need be? Yeah. You know, so don't come to the board now and tell me you need this. You could have fucking done this, mate. That's my point. You could have done this.
Do you know my biggest question? Sorry to interrupt you, Terry. I've thrown a few grenades out on Twitter, right? And the question I want to ask people is, do we believe this manager can take us to the Premier League and the Champions League? Because that's the aim of Arsenal, right? We've won FA Cups and still not been satisfied. We've been top four. We wanted Wenger out with top four. That was considered not enough. My thing is always, can this manager take us to the next level? And that's where the question mark is for me, because it's like, I think he's a very good coach. He has great ideas, style of football, he can improve players. But his man management and his ability to get a team over the finish line, and at times his talent ID as well. You know, I did a video the other day going through all of his signings, and I was like, it's probably 9 or 10 that have worked. There's a good 13, 14 that have been total misses. Some very expensive ones as well. So for me now, it's if you get to the end of the season and you haven't won a trophy and maybe you finished fourth but you didn't really compete with City, it's like, at what point do we say this is the end of the road, you've reached your ceiling? You know, a lot of people say that Brendan Rodgers thing. Brendan created a team at Liverpool that was very exciting, challenge for the league, but they had to get Klopp to get over the finish line. He was the winner, he was the world-class manager. I know it's a story, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but I think we've got a right to ask that question. He's had a lot of time and a lot of money.
So I'm just to answer it quick, I'm of the belief that Arteta will get to a level where he's good enough to win the Premier League and the Champions League. But I don't know if that's next year, I don't know if that's this year, I don't know if that's in 5 years, I don't know if that's in 10 years. I don't know if he needs maybe a different club, slightly different, I don't know what it is. Sometimes the fit just isn't, I don't know. I believe he's talented enough. I believe he's got us a long way. Let's put it this way: if Arteta had City's squad, do you guys think he'd win the league?
Yeah, he would.
Oh yeah, I think he would. I think that team does it itself almost.
So that I think, well, yeah, you could say does it itself, but that tells me.
Well, it's a beautiful day for football. No complaints whatsoever on that front here at Old Trafford. I'm Derek Ray, and adjacent to me in the commentary box is Stuart Robson. And we're fully convinced this game will live up to its billing. It's the Hornets versus Arsenal.
Thanks, Derek. Well, often we talk about the tactics, the individual players that are missing, but so often it's the mentality of the player that is key to winning any football game. Which of these teams has the right attitude today is the big question.
GC gave me the ability to succeed again.
Have a look at the initial 11 for the Hornets.
Yeah,
Alisson begins in goal. Frankie de Jong plays alongside Sandro Tonali in central midfield. And Gianluca Vialli starts with Thiago
I think we're a
Aspas.
different team, but the reality is you're never going to get through a season without injuries. So you then have to look at, well, if that guy comes out and he comes in, can he still keep us going to win the league? And I think the problem at Arsenal, the jump between players is too big. Jesus and Nketiah is too big. Odegaard to Fabio or Havertz is too big. You know, Declan Rice to Jorginho is too big, and that's why
Read that pass all
we
the way.
fall short. Last season, if Saliba's fit, we might win the league, but the drop-off is the problem for me. I think we still... The concern for me is I still think we need a lot of money spent. A lot of money. I think we need one or two centre mids, a striker, another right winger to push Saka. The left back situation, I feel like we've opened a can of worms there. It looks secure. Zinchenko, Tierney, one attacks, one can really defend. You let him go. Obviously, he's got injured. Tommy Asu's done well, but it's not his natural position. And now Zinni looks like, he might not be in the team now. I'm really surprised Zinni hasn't played midfield for us yet.
Yeah, I thought so too. Curtis, got to take some other calls.
No problem,
pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Big up you, man.
In a bit, my friend, in a bit. Yeah, I think Curtis explained that. Explained the officiating one better than me. Like, even if I think it's a foul on Gabriel, I still think the red card's worse. And I'm surprised I wouldn't focus on that, where there is a bit of pushing and shoving in boxes. There is the whole clear and obvious thing that comes into play. That's not me saying I think it is a foul, but I'm surprised that the conversation isn't about that. Like, you club someone around the head.
He has options available. The Hornets have it back.
That's the thing, because that's it. They see that's the moment. But for me, earlier in the game, the red card, clear red card on Bruno Guimaraes, who by the way did nothing all game but run around kicking people. I thought it was awful, but irritating. He's on the winning side. I'm surprised that's what people are more focused on, but I kind of get it. All right, let's get to the next caller. Who's next to join us? Hey, what's your name?
Bless.
Pleasure to meet you. Oh, amazing, man. Thanks so much for calling. Look, help us break it down. Where is your frustration first? Officiating, the performance, lack of humility?
I'm not frustrated, but I'm not expecting to win this game.
Nikita Paris.
Because when I say Odegaard out, then the team is not good enough. I need to say I have respect for Curtis on this. Very hard to talk after he sat down. I think team is not good, and Arteta had make a bad decision on the summer last January too.
Frankie de Jong.
And it's now it is what it is. I have a question for you, If we are playing Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu, and if you are Real Madrid and Nketiah, Havertz and Jorginho starts, are you afraid?
Well, half-time almost upon us, and playing away from home isn't bothering them in the slightest.
It's very, very hard to say anything else. I think Arteta is very talented manager, and he has ability to do it. But he needs to recognize his mistakes. January is key.
Yeah.
On the referee decision, last 30 years, we are seeing
the pass well.
It's a bad decision, but for me,
Continues his run, but they took care of the situation defensively.
We have one shot on target.
Yeah, that's the bigger talking point.
That's great. January, we need... Sorry, Kurkiv.
Forget Real Madrid, would Wrexham be scared against
Really
them?
took a touch on the way out of play. So a throw-in to come.
Havertz, Jorginho,
They probably would think.
I wouldn't be scared to face them. Would you be scared to face them if you went on a pitch against them?
Yeah, they are professional footballers.
And yet they're obviously
And
better
so the
than us,
first
but
half
scared to
story
face
has been
them.
written. Half-time here at Old Trafford.
Yeah, like, obviously.
I think. Sorry, guys.
Playing Mbappe, Messi, and Haaland.
But you mean scared in terms of being like physically overwhelmed, like just.
Well, back underway here,
totally,
and it was a first-half performance devoid of any steam from the Hornets.
Jorginho and Havertz would still play.
Jorginho, the best of the lot, but Havertz, no chance in hell am I scared to play.
And he's broken free.
What's he doing for you to say you'd be scared?
And the keeper throws himself at the ball.
Sorry, James. You can watch from another angle. Say me like this: Tottenham plays Real Madrid.
Opportunity.
And Real Madrid or Barcelona or Manchester City.
Saved by the keeper.
We play Manchester City and Nketiah start for Manchester City. Are you afraid? Are Saliba afraid? Gabriel afraid? No, they are laughing at me.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I do, yeah.
Because it's big respect for you. You are talking like me, and you are not dinosaur. Because if you are dinosaur, I am with you 100%.
Yeah, man, dinosaurs here, man.
Love you guys.
You've been fantastic.
Thank you for opportunity.
Come on, man. Come on again, man.
Thank you for joining.
Take care, man.
In a bit, Bliss. What a name as well. James on the payroll. On what payroll?
Well, those stats back up what we've been watching. It's been a really one-sided game. It's far too easy for them to open up.
Hey, how you doing, man?
This could turn into a rout.
Yeah, good, man. Good to see you again. Help me understand what went wrong today.
Oh shit!
Excellent goalkeeping. And the flag has gone up here, offside the decision.
It looks very negative.
Well, they've decided to make a change.
I just want to say, in summary of the game, I'm just going to say in one sentence. Defensively, we do not deserve to lose that game. And creatively, we do not deserve to win that game. I think that sums up the game in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
as
what
well.
baffles me is we've had an Arsenal team over the years.
Textbook closing down, and now they're on the attack.
Well,
the referee not too happy with the challenge and blows for a free kick.
We've had players in this team that create amazing chances and a weak spine. And I think one of the best things Mikel Arteta has done to this team is strengthen our spine. I think that's something we needed for a long time. But I feel like it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. When last can you honestly tell me
Really fine
we've had a
piece of
world-class
defending play
striker
to break us up.
in the box that defenders fear? Someone that you know can get you a last-minute goal. Someone you know
it might happen for her here.
his name's on the team sheet and those two centre-backs are going to be scared. That's the question I've got.
Yeah.
Well, they can keep possession now. Now feeding it
On
to the
this one.
goalkeeper.
But why is with these ads?
No, but Van Persie's the last one.
Yeah.
For me, maybe Aubameyang, I'd say when he had that
different way. I think Van Persie could do something out of nothing. Whereas Oba relied on service too at the same
Still
time.
an issue here.
I think we had a run where Alexis Sanchez was up top.
Okay.
And what I loved about him up front, and by the way, it took Wenger years to come to that conclusion that he should be playing there. But what I loved about Alexis up top was
really
he did do everything. He ran beyond, he dropped short, he could hold up the ball, he could pass, he could link up, he could run at you with the ball at his feet. He did everything. And that's probably the last time that we had a player that I thought, yeah, do not give him time. Like we could play terribly and we stand a chance with him out there. Now, I think Gabi Jesus has a lot of that, but the clinicalness, like he's just not, like you don't worry about him as a goal threat, but you worry about him as just an out and out footballer. But then you sort of also know he can spin me and twist me and dart past 3 players and be through on goal and maybe miss it. So there's that. Like, so I get your point. I get what you're asking.
Just the challenge that was required.
And just another point on the team as a whole. I think regarding the game,
well, on you go, says the referee. Advantage.
We didn't draw. We didn't give anything out of the game. We didn't deserve to win that game.
And there it breaks down, but
if we
credit
carry
to
on
the
playing
defence.
like that, creatively, we don't deserve to
10 minutes to go
goals,
then.
in my opinion. I think
Do you think we deserve to lose? Sorry to cut in. Do you think we deserve to lose the game?
Beckham?
No, defensively, no.
So that's the point I was making is defensively we don't deserve to lose that game, but creatively we don't deserve to win it either. And what I do feel that is
Sandro Tonali.
Yes, he made a mistake with that. So I don't think most people are going to agree with you there. But what baffles me, we've got the same team, bar Tierney. Okay, Tierney's out on that. But besides Tierney, we've got exactly the same team that pushed City into April last year.
And it's very hard
There's
to
one other
imagine
big
them losing
noticeable
it now.
absentee, but my point on that absentee is that Declan Rice holds Granit Xhaka's position. If Thomas
seducing with his passing.
or if you have Jorginho,
Well, the decision is offside, and he's bound to be a bit disappointed.
He's actually made his run before his teammate had control of the ball, and that's why it's offside.
Box-to-box position. We've got three players that can play.
Not a huge chunk of added time, 1 minute. And so the final whistle here, the visitors come out on top, Stuart.
Well, it was a very assured performance.
Really want to push it, can play in that position. My problem is the number 10 position. We didn't have our captain today. What creativity does our team have? So that number 10 position, in my opinion, that should have been covered. That should have been sought after. So that if Odegaard is not available, we've got someone that can step up and someone that can change the game. And if he doesn't want the centre forward, then my other opinion is then it's either that or it's a centre forward. Someone in that box. How many crosses? You guys saw the game. How many crosses do we have into the box? That just went missing. It was easy to bring in for Newcastle. We don't have someone in that box that you know is going to put a challenge in, someone that they're scared of marking, someone that can draw a foul, get us a penalty. And that's our biggest problem. We don't have the threat at that level of threat that other teams have here.
Yeah.
So that's for me. It's the centre forward and it's the number 10 position. He really hasn't. We're very short there.
Finding enough two crucial positions for scoring goals and creating chances, but yeah, mate, listen, you make some great points, and it's great to hear from you again. Please call back, yeah.
Awesome, guys. Sounds good.
In a little bit.
Cheers.
Let's get our next caller in as well. Really good points made about those positions. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, man. Good to see you guys, man.
Yeah, good to see you. Come on, get it off your chest. What do you think? What's the forefront of your mind?
Oh, Jamie, where do I start, man? It feels like Groundhog Day with Arsenal this season. We've had a good sample size of games. People can't say it's the beginning of the season. We'll have 11 Premier League games, 3 Champions League games, and 2 Carabao Cup games. So, and you see the same thing with Arsenal finally. You know, possession stats 60%, 70%, sometimes even 80%. But you've got to look at the areas of the pitch where we're effective. We've not affected the right areas of the pitch.
I agree.
And even today, when we didn't manage to beat Newcastle, our execution in the final third, and this is not the first time this has been poor. Very, very poor. I mean, even from the strength that we've got, James, in terms of the seconds, going back to last season, coming into this season, we had 11 goals today. Newcastle had 0.
Yeah.
And they're a physically broken side, but today was one of them games. Now you guys felt that if Arsenal conceded the first goal, we would be in trouble with it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it for Shane, and I think that's probably another podcast on the street. But I was concerned. I thought the game was quite close. I think there were turning points during it in terms of the Havertz yellow card. I thought we did well for 35 minutes, but then Newcastle had the ascendancy and came into it a little bit more. The crowd got up, and the second half I thought it was a bit nip and tuck, but you can't win games of football if you're not fit in the final third. And the problem Arsenal have got, not just for this season, and probably going into future seasons, the striker market is not a massive market, James. If anything, it's decreasing to go and find somebody out there. But yeah, the football going this season, I think it's a good sample size of games to say that. I'm concerned now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What do you think of, like, we don't look as good going forward as last season. So either we've explored, so probably me and Tash talked about it more than anyone else on this channel. We've explored, is this a deliberate thing from Arteta to protect the back four? And I understand, to give a little bit to the defence, maybe we've got to take a little bit away from the attack. You've only got 11 men on the pitch, I understand that. But what worries me, I used to have faith that Arsenal could turn it back on if they needed to. Today they needed to. Zinni came back on. Now I know we're missing Odegaard, Jesus, Partey, and I believe they're all crucial but we didn't even look like we could go through the gears and at least apply pressure. Now, applying pressure doesn't mean forcing Pope into loads of saves from high XG chances and all this. My voice is gone. What it means is, can you stick the ball into the box in a somewhat dangerous area? Can you get a succession of corners? Can you keep them camped in their half? Can you get them doing some last-ditch defending? I saw one, maybe two examples of that in the last 25 minutes. It's got to be relentless. And we didn't know that we could relentlessly sustain attacks in this game.
Emirates Stadium. My name's Guy Mowbray.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and everything is set up nicely to give us a really good match.
But we failed to do anything when they got the equaliser. 1-1 Man United. Listen, we didn't win the game in the end, but it came from a corner. We wasn't applying pressure like that. Lons, we lost that game. When did we really start applying pressure in that one? And now today. So that's 4 examples in the first, 16 games of the season? Yeah. That's a poor, 4
Now, this has to be.
4 of the games where we've needed to be able to flip it up a little bit. We failed that. Those are the only 4 games where we've needed to have that. And we failed. So we failed at 100, it's 100% rate. That we failed to switch on.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What changes do you make for next week? Havertz came in for Erdegaard. We don't know how long Erdegaard's out for. But he didn't really set the world right. Like, though, he showed some fight. I can give him that. But, I mean, listen, we're scraping.
Offside has been given here.
What do you do next week going in Seville?
Oh, it's a million-dollar question.
It turned out to be a really good ball.
It's a very good answer.
We know how difficult it can be to stop Erling Haaland when he's on his top form. What are we expecting to see from him today, Sue?
Well, he's a match winner. He's a genius on the football pitch. Whenever he gets on the ball, you think he's going to make something.
Oh, they could be in here, Sue. Well, he went for power, but he got it all wrong. It's missed by a distance.
I went for a draw going into the game, so I wasn't that confident as to something. But in terms of changes next week, James, I'm kind of looking at it thinking it depends on the players that are coming back and how long it's going to be out for. And you're relying on some of the guys that played today or in the game before to actually step up. And unfortunately, Arsenal, they haven't done that this season. And that's the problem with the fringe players. And every club has this change in terms of like, you want them to come in and make an impact. They didn't do that last. They didn't do that against West Ham. They didn't do it today.
Just needs the composure now.
And are they going to do it
that was a chance.
Bro, what the fuck?
Well, that's a huge opportunity to take the lead, and she just doesn't compose herself. You can see the frustration on her face.
We have to be more of a front foot team, and that has to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. Mate, thank you so much for calling.
That's no problem.
Sorry we don't have the most energy, but listen, you make me.
Albert knows me, man. He wasn't expecting energy.
Move of real promise developing.
Cheers, Albert. Cheers. Ashley comments that James checked Carragher's tweet. So I've had a look at Carragher's tweet. And he said, VAR didn't change the decision from the officials tonight on the goal. They couldn't find enough evidence / camera angles to overturn the 3 incidences. They couldn't give the ball out if they don't know 100%. If there was no VAR, it would have still been given as a goal.
In behind, can he
Which,
finish?
I agree with some of that. Let's go on Stephen.
And there's the opener.
Hey, how you doing,
the
mate?
all-important first goal of the game.
Yeah, a bit dejected, a bit flat.
So off we go at 1-0.
My weekend. But I'm doing my next, my last few hours and what's left of this show. But go on, mate. Help us out. Help me understand what we're on today.
Nah, man. Creativity really is what went wrong. But what I will say is, it's a bad day. Everyone's frustrated. I get it. But I just want you to hear me out for a second.
Shut your bitch ass up.
And I think Turkish touched on this at the beginning, right? I keep hearing people say, we didn't deserve to win, we didn't deserve to win. Rightfully so. But I think we got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, right?
Shut your bitch ass. About to fucking long hair,
Newcastle
ass looking at it.
And it's a tough place to play on the road.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
compile that with the fact that we're going to start the game, we find out no Odegaard. We already don't have Partey, and we don't have Gabriel Jesus. So, prior to the game, So prior to the game,
good progress here.
Well, yeah, right, at this point. But what I'm trying to get at is really prior to the game, you know, I would have been happy with a draw. Just going in there with a draw. And,
of course, your bitch ass would.
you know, we keep piling on. I hear a lot of people talk about Kai and, you know, he 65 million pounds or whatever. You know, at this point, Kai does not put the price tag on himself, right? He is what he is.
Sí, pero tiene que,
It's
gotta perform.
And this is what we're getting. Not good enough, I get it, but we move on. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, you know, I thought we looked calm, we looked composed. In my opinion, I thought we were fairly good control, and the most important thing that I thought out of that game is I thought we looked focused. In that first half, I thought we looked focused, composed.
Bro, por eso no nos valoran, bro. That's why they do not give a fuck about our opinions as Americans in football. This dude's just chatting shit, man.
So why did we expect that all of a sudden without Odegaard now we were just gonna have 5, 6, 7, 8 different chances and scoring a goal? It just wasn't going to happen. And as much as we bash Kai, if he's starting in that position, then why on earth would we even think that he was going to provide some type of spark?
Can I cut you? I'm really sorry. You asked what we expected, and you give a really great... You're spot on. From what we've seen with our eyes, why? Why should we expect any different? I think because as fans, we hold out hope that the £100 million combined outlay on Vieira and Havertz is going to at some point bring what we think Arteta invested in. That Eddie Nketiah, off the back of a hat-trick against Sheffield United, super backed by Mikel Arteta this season whenever Jesus hasn't been fit, is going to deliver in a big game away from home. We think that eventually Arteta, with his full season of £400 million spent, is going to have more solutions to when we lose a few players. Now, I actually agree with you. Jesus, Partey, I'd agree. Maybe only Zinchenko from the only one. But those are three of the four most crucial players to our fluidity and our ability to kind of play the kind of football we love seeing. So I do agree that they're a big miss. But Arteta's had plenty of opportunities to find another way, and that's my expectation. I came in, and if I knew nothing about what it costs to bring these players, I had no expectation. But the hope is in me that eventually we're going to see what Arteta saw when he signed them.
Good challenge.
Yes, I agree, but I also, and I do agree with what you're saying, but I also do think that, you know, as fans, I think we focus a lot on that price tag, right? And that's kind of what I was trying to just say in terms of Kai, right? Kai didn't put a 65 tag on his chest and said, hey, everybody,
Doesn't matter, bro. No importa.
Right? That's just
You gotta perform, come on.
Said he was worth, and for better or for worse, our manager said that he's worth that. So, fine, he got it.
What is this dude saying?
I'm never arguing the whole thing. He's got that wrong, and we got to move on. And the other thing that I really want to ask, you know, you, James, and Turkish as well, I'm very curious what you guys think about this is, you know, we talk a lot about we need that other striker, right? And Ivan Toney is the talk of the town, and everyone's talking, that's the guy we need. That's the guy that's going to propel us to get all these chances. But my question to you guys is, and I'm genuinely curious, is, you know, Ivan Toney, and I will say I haven't watched him a lot. I have watched a few games of him, but he looks like that, you know, striker. He's up there, you bang him the ball, and he's big and strong guy. But my question to you guys is, if we're not creating chances at all, you know, what is he going to do up front? Like, I believe, James, you mentioned one thing, and this is not to...
That's a good question.
Just to put it into perspective is, you know, one thing you mentioned is the lack of opportunity Eddie has sometimes, right? They're not giving him the ball. And we look at Eddie and say, what did he do? He didn't do anything. But then you look at the game and you're like, well, he never got any opportunities. He never got any through balls or anything like that.
He did. Este partido he got 3. And he got fucking thrown to the floor. No.
Ivan Toney's not getting these through balls, not getting these opportunities.
If he does, he's putting at least... If he gets 3, he's putting 1 in. Eso, dude, like... Este vato no mira fútbol. What the fuck? He didn't get get through balls. He got 3. They laid him on his ass. What the fuck is he talking about?
An actual creative midfielder, one to either back up Odegaard or.
Look, he's right.
In my opinion. But, you know, his standard was so high, so I rate him a lot higher. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of we're not creating chances, you know, this fluidity or chemistry as we're saying, you know.
And the hosts have really
If
been on it.
we're not going to continue to create, how does Ivan Toney change that, you know, in the squad?
Who's a decision maker in making us a more controlling team and a less creative side? Mikel Arteta. Whose decision is it to keep Eddie Nketiah as a backup? Mikel Arteta. And at the end of the day, Eddie stepped into a side midway through last season that, on the flip side, was creating an abundance of chances, and he lost his spot. So we all knew, regardless of if you're creating chances or not creating chances, this guy's not the one.
Arsenal with the ball again.
This is why tonight I'm so frustrated, because it's like all roads lead back to Mikel, and instead of Mikel coming out and being, you know, a bit more honest about the troubles we're facing creating chances, he's gone to, you know, rant about the referees.
To win it there.
Like, bro, we didn't do enough to win this game. What was your plan? A 0-0 draw? Because we failed to create an adequate chance. Talk about that, because it's not the first time this season.
Oh, this is getting
so much as, I understand you, and I agree with you. Chance creation is a big problem for us. I don't actually think it's personnel-wise that is the problem. I think it's tactical tweaks. I think it's the instructions being set for each individual. I said it on my fan cam. I said back in the day, the instructions came to a defensive unit, a back four. Midfield would get instructions, and the forward line, 2 strikers would get instructions. Now it's the right back has an instruction, the left back has an instruction, the right centre back has one, the goalkeeper fucking has one. Back in the day it was save the ball and distribute. The 6 has one. Every role now has an individual responsibility. You can see that. And when it's working, it'll be labelled genius. When it's not working, we need to speak on it, because it's not working. It's not. It hasn't been working all season. And if people thought that, oh, we're unbeaten so far is an excuse, I'll lean back on the 22-game unbeaten run with Emery. We all knew there was something there, but we all rode the wave because it was our first season off the back of Wenger, and it felt good that we was, you know, going a multiple amount of games not being beaten. But when the cracks showed, everything opened up.
Yeah. Oh, it looked bad. Yeah.
We're going to move on to our next caller, mate, and our final caller. But you're fantastic as always, mate. Thanks for joining.
Love, Steve, man.
Thank you, guys.
Catch you in a bit. Catch you in a bit. And our final caller of the day to round it all off. How you doing? I was just saying, and to round off the show, let's bring in Mans.
Last but not least.
Man, it's been a shit week, man. Me and you wanted to go through the Carabao Cup more than most, and then you followed up with not even a performance I hated, because there was a commitment I liked, but a result that's not good enough, and certainly questions that have been asked already this season still not really improving. What are your take?
My head is hot, James. I'm so angry. I haven't been this angry about football for a while. Because I know I've come here and I talked about fluidity and many things, but I'm so proud of the boys today.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of the team. The way we first of all, let's put things into perspective. We came into one of the hardest stadiums in England. Newcastle is one of the 4 games. Newcastle away is one of the 4 games that I looked into in the season. I hate going into that place. I've been on that stadium as well. I hate going into that place. Aston Villa away, Newcastle away, Liverpool away, Man City away. 4 games, 4 hardest games in the season, in my opinion. And that was it. And we outplayed them completely. Not in terms of chance creation, but in terms of defense and midfield, we completely outplayed them.
I agree on that. I agree. In those areas, they haven't had a slip. Massively.
They haven't had a slip in the first half. They haven't had a slip in the second half.
Yeah.
Now, do we have problems as a team? Yes, we do. Because we bought in Kai Havertz. We bought in Kai Havertz instead of a player, Xhaka, who was the best box-to-box player last season. Best box-to-box. He was, in my opinion, the best number 8 last season. And it was always going to be a problem replacing him.
Okay,
and when you replace him with a player that hasn't really shined in England ever since arriving, that's going to be even more of a problem. So do we have problems? Yes. I think our biggest problem today in terms of creativity were Martinelli and Saka, because their job when Jesus is not here, because they should know, like we know, that Nketiah is not a player that's going to be a creative false number 9. Nketiah literally relies on balls being fed to him. So when Jesus is absent, their job is to be creative part in attack, and they weren't. But in terms of everybody else, Jorginho, Kai Havertz even, I'm really surprised to say that, but in my opinion, he played very decent today. Jorginho played well.
Jorginho, I agree with. I thought Jorginho was fine today. I agree with that.
I thought Jorginho played well. I thought Declan Rice was the man of the match. I don't care if we lost.
What?
And I thought our defense was spotless. And then you got that.
Y'all chatting shit, man. Jorginho, man, la match estás pendejo, tú. Bro, you didn't even watch the game. The boy was like getting slapped up by Bruno Guimaraes. Man, the match is fucking Joe Linton, bro.
I'm Guy Mowbray and Sue Smith is alongside me for commentary.
The Arsenal, I guess Martinelli or Saliba.
Thanks, Guy. Well, being in and around the ground before kick-off, the fans are buzzing. They can't wait for this game, so hopefully it's a fast-paced, entertaining match.
They robbed us of a point. 4 3 points in a row. We've played the same against Sevilla like we did today. I thought the performance was very similar. Yeah, we went and scored a goal. Martinelli won and then we scored a second goal with Jesus. I thought the performance was very similar.
I was fine with the general performance. I agree, but what I say is different though. Against Sevilla, we had a cutting edge and a penetration. We had something.
Jesus.
Gabby Jesus.
Yeah, because of Jesus, but the performance was very similar. So there's no
better on the ball than that.
We could just say, oh, we're definitely not going to win the game.
Making good progress here.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do.
Even a point,
and the defender in the right place to stop
it. For
it.
me, even if we're going for the title, is a good point.
No, I agree with that.
Man City cannot win at this stadium. They did 3-3 last season. They lost 1-0 this season.
Well held from the corner, an assured piece of goalkeeping.
Not many teams are going to come here and win. So to not only to get a point here, but to outplay them the way we did.
Now to deliver a good ball in.
We got robbed.
That's a nice cutback.
We did not play them, bro. We did not outplay them. We did not outplay them. Lo estaban ganando el segundo, tercer puto balón. We did not outplay fucking Newcastle. Yo no sé qué puto partido estás viendo tú. That they outplayed us también. Like, I mean, they outplayed us like in ganas. That's how they outplayed us. In. Pero we did not outplay Newcastle, bro. Jorginho fucking man a match. Está jodiendo las pelotas. That boy was on the floor the whole time.
Not getting close enough here. Real opportunity. And the keeper more than equal to it.
What's his name?
Ball comes in. Well, she's got two now.
I actually agree with a lot of what you said, and looking at the more positive side, I think it's Arsenal, but there is a fluidity issue. Like when the openers were there in the first half, we couldn't do anything. Then we needed to put the pressure on for 25 minutes, we couldn't do it. So something isn't right there.
Yeah.
Well, there is a fluidity issue because the manager decided to buy Kai Havertz to play as a number 8. And then Mikel Arteta had half the trust he has in Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira. I think our fluidity would have been much better because I've been standing up with Fabio Vieira ever since I've come up here, and he doesn't get any sort of chance. He came again, I'm going to repeat what I said last time I was on here. He came in against Fulham, he's had a good game. He's come in after that, he's had good games. And if you put them
Pero hoy he's had a decent game, you know.
Rice as a 6, Fabio Vieira as an 8,
Daniel
and
James.
Martin Odegaard as a 10. And I think that's probably...
And this could be.
Jack is now gone.
And another goal. It seemed all over before, but there's another to really seal it.
It was a 6, Rice is an 8.
Yeah, that's the fucking team. Yeah, Kai Havertz is shit. I don't know. Ese vato yo no lo quiero ver. He's not good enough. I think he should play. Él debería jugar 9. Pero es que también no hace goles. It's like, what the fuck does this dude do?
We're a more controlled team now. I don't expect to see any fluidity. Not any fluidity. I'm not
Es que está difícil con este Kai Havertz.
In the end, if that was the league,
but that's it for now.
If it was the Champions League or even gets us in the final, I'll shut. But if Mikel Arteta this season doesn't win a trophy,
finishes
in second, or even finishes second and doesn't win a trophy, Mikel Arteta, as good of a manager that he is,
it's got to be.
But it has to go.
That's been cleared away.
Thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you for always being so patient.
Oh, just one last thing. if the fans want to see it change, they have to take matters into their own hands. PGMOL is not going to change anything.
Yeah, but how much will that do? But I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. Nice, fans. As always.
Come away with the ball.
Let's get the super chat. I know you've all been sending in comments and super chats. Apologies, taking a while to get to them, but let's see what we had to say. Miss says, what's the counter play to teams doubling,
Party 6, Rice 8,
So, mate, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Odegaard 10. That's
Arsenal
just a
are the first
midfield.
team to have wide wingers that have the touchline terrorise teams. What did they do when that happened? You had De Bruyne and David Silva would then go, cool, thank you for occupying all those players, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's factual. Bro, what is going on with these ads? Does they got ads out the wall, fucking wazoo?
We haven't signed players of those profiles. I think Vieira's the closest. If you're really forcing it, you'll say he's a left-footed, you know, small give-and-go player, but nowhere near the quality of Bernardo and David Silva. But profile-wise, I haven't seen his version of a De Bruyne. I haven't seen his version of a Gundogan.
Probably Vieira, like in 5 years, tal vez va a ser un gran jugador. But not yet. Le faltan 5 años. Because right now he's like, what is he, like 21, 22, 23? Yeah, a los 27 va a ser un gran jugador.
I'm just as angry as anyone, but after so many games,
right now it's not good enough.
We lose and win. We do stupid, silly mistakes. Yes, Ryan was the biggest culprit, but Gabby, who's immense, should simply clear the ball. So Tommy thinking it's not enough. I hate to say this, in the comment section will bother me about it, I get it. I can't help but feel that whether he was fouled or not, and I think he was, that I'm with you, like, something didn't look right about the way Gabriel's trying to defend it. That's all I'll say. Yeah. But he was brilliant today, and I do think he was fouled. Well, it says, how can VAR draw lines to find a pube straight offside, yet not see if
Yo sabía que quería hacer.
surely they have the tools to not
Quería
just say
despejar, pero no se pudo, bro.
I don't know.
Y este vato push him.
A lot of people are upset about that one. And I'm not trying to defend VAR because I've been on them more than probably anyone on this channel, but like if it is out of play, it's like by that much. Like how about we defend properly? Like how about Ryan doesn't jump out and like I'm not saying these decisions don't matter, it is the fine margins, but I think we're obsessing on it a little too much, but I understand the disappointment. Ricky says, honest question, TNJ, is it possible that Arteta has regressed the style of Fit Kai, realising Kai can't match Xhaka's role? He's down here £65 million grave, if so. I also want to hear this. Oh, it's the signing that ruined the project. If we're a proper big club that actually spend money, it shouldn't be you spend 400 million but you've got to get it right. If Kai Havertz is a failure and a flop, right off as a failure and a flop then.
Exactly.
So what? Like, Chelsea did that with Kai Havertz. Man United have done that with Romelu Lukaku. Hell, City have maybe not quite 65, but City have bought players that have ended up going, oh, actually, I'm not sure. Look at Calvin Phillips. He's only 20 million more. Like, and when Rodri was out for 3 games, Pep didn't use him. So we shouldn't be afraid to go, we got it wrong. You tried something, you got it wrong. I still think if he's ever to have a future in this team, Kai Havertz is up front.
Being pressed here.
But like, that's... I know, I'm scraping, I know. I know you're giving me the Turkish look, I know. But...
I hear what you're saying, but listen, that can't believe he done it. And if he doesn't realise his mistake soon, because it is a mistake, then it is a make or break sign. Yeah, for him. Because it doesn't have to be. Because in January you can, come out and not say that it was a mistake, show it in the window.
Yeah.
Make the necessary moves. I keep on saying that I cannot believe we have Kai Havertz at Arsenal. I can't fucking believe it. We want Pepe, he flopped, we let him go for free. The same year Chelsea by Havertz, he flopped, we buy him for 65 million. I'm sorry, as much as Arteta's done so much good to get here, yeah, this is a damning blow to his process and his project. It is a damning blow because it's madness. We can't forget about the Willians and the Tavares and the Makongas, because over that time other signings were coming in and helping the trajectory go up. This summer is the one where Rice has come in, he's helping us, but the trajectory is not up, because the only way up from here was to win a league title. And as much as people say this is only game week 11, it is. But come on,
if you had to make a prediction right now, yeah, you predicted Arsenal will win the league title. Do you still think that's the case?
Yes. Yes. I still believe.
I do. Because I'm a delusional fan.
Exactly.
But you know
Yo
why you're
también.
saying it.
No, look.
Your initial smile, listen.
Can I give you an honest answer to that?
Your honest answer was the initial smile.
No.
It was.
No. Okay.
This is you thinking about the honest answer.
Let me just tap away my mind.
Lifted nicely. Oh, what a save that
Man,
is.
this boy Chips is crazy.
If Jesus, Partey, and other players continue to miss this much of the season, no way, no chance. I really believe if they are fit, and obviously when I made the prediction, Timber was fit as well. I really believe if the majority of our key players stay fit, and some people say that's not realistic. Look, it is realistic. Every team that's won the title has had fitness on their side, has had luck on their side on the fitness front. So if that's the case, Partey and Jesus play a significant amount of this season, I still think we're going to win the league. But right now, I'm being serious. But right now,
Yeah, Partey's in the fucking team.
yeah.
As long as that's going on.
Are we winning the league with Kai Havertz playing most of our games in midfield?
Fuck no.
Are we winning the league with Eddie Nketiah playing most games up
No.
top? Not a chance. I agree with that. I do think fully fit Arsenal 11 is good enough to win that league. So can they please get fit?
Yeah, that's a tough ask in itself.
Yeah.
Factos. This is factos, bro.
But that's a. Do you think our fully fit 11, Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Jesus, Martinez, Saka?
Yes.
Do you think they can win the league?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if Man City have injuries, yeah, which they have.
Yeah.
I thought they could go into the season. I still predicted us to finish second.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Rizvan says methodical, slow, overcomplicated football, not near the levels of last season. Arteta's got to take a lot of blame, not just for today. Failed in the transfer window and failed today tactically. Red Smoke says send Havertz to Argos. Click and collect. Okay. Roy says Turkish and James. It kills me to say this, my guys, but I'm completely Arteta out. It's not just me due to this result. Arteta has taken us backwards. If you guys are fans, and on Monday I'll explain why. Lee Jacobs says thanks for the call. Just one thing. You need at least one world-class big-name player to win you important games. We don't have it, and Mikel Arteta's record with big names isn't great. It's the one thing about him that makes me doubt whether he's hit his ceiling. Everyone, thank you for all your calls. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for all your thoughts. A bitter pill to swallow, not just because of the result of the defeat, but also just how the game was fiery, and it just like added a sense of pride to it that he didn't want to lose either. And from lacking fluidity to very, very questionable decisions to just losing at a place that I didn't feel we deserved to lose our overall performance. It's frustrating, but it has highlighted our bigger flaws that have been there from day one, which is that fluidity is a problem this season. Okay, sorry, some more comments are coming, they're just talking shit. Alright, everyone, we're gonna wrap it there. Big thanks, everyone. Catch you next week. Reaction coming out throughout the weekend. Fan cams, check all that. Thanks for calling, thanks for contributing. Catch you soon.
Just need these two. These two. Damn, we just needed these two. You got almost just away. Let's do it. I ran. What the fuck?
Expedia members save on travel.
Expedia members. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. We discussed the starting 11 for Arsenal away in Newcastle about half an hour ago. Now we're back looking ahead to kick off in about 10 to 13 minutes time. Also, Arsenal facing
10 to 13 minutes time.
Newcastle in a weird patch of form. They have they beat United 3-0 at Old Trafford in the Cup in the week. That'll give them confidence. They have rotated quite a bit. Before that, a draw against Wolves, who just lost to Sheffield United. What are we going to get from Newcastle? Crucially, what are we going to get from Arsenal? We don't have Martin Odegaard. Let's welcome back Luke, Turkish Talia, and who we didn't hear at the start, we have Laura as well, who's clapping for himself.
I was on a course today, a fitness course on there.
What the fuck? That looks like Robbie sin like 200 libras.
I'm the man to check out. So yeah, I've been doing that today. It's really busy. Started at 9, not too long finished. Just gone back. Thanks to the cheaters for letting me out a bit early as well. Thanks to Fraser, very understanding.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great to get your thoughts on the 11. I didn't know we had a sponsor today. Lord Fitness.
I'm enjoying the story. You really drawn in there.
Yeah, for 10% off your first month. Yeah. Laurie 10. That's the code. Yeah. Put the description.
Description in the link. Link in the description. Link in the description.
You know what? Let's just talk Arsenal. Laurie.
On Bisica.
The comment says Laurie's been training Kai. He's in the 11, Kai Havertz. He starts in midfield. I think you got it off screen, Laurie, but I'll remind you. And everyone, Rice starts in goal with White, Saliba, Gabriel, Thomas in the back four. Rice, Jorginho, Havertz in midfield. Saka, Martinelli.
That's Fabinho, bro.
First one, Havertz, Jorginho, and Rice in midfield 3. We were saying either or, as Turkish was pointing out.
The fuck do they do esos madres for
I must say this, yeah, and I don't wish to sound in any way pessimistic or negative, but I'm going to say it because that's how I feel. Whenever I hear Arsenal 11 and it's got Jorginho in it, immediately I'm thinking conserve, contain, do not lose. Hopefully we don't lose today, but will we win? It's a bit of a difficult one today, isn't it?
Let's get your reaction to this Turkish big team news. Ben White's dyed his hair. Why me? Why me? Don't know. What are you going to pull out a Balotelli? Why always White? Under the Maharishi Arsenal, which by the way looks really nice.
It is nice.
Well, just.
Dyed his hair what colour?
Black.
Black, wow.
Oh,
Lee was saying he has to change it. He obviously
isn't that back to where it was? Listen, let's not even talk about his hair. Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was more like...
with the senders,
He's
about to give us tactical insight level thoughts on that. Fair enough. Okay. Well, let me get your thoughts on this then, Tony.
Don't head into your own net today.
Whatever colour hair it is.
The debate that was kind of rumbling going into this was, it's a point about result for Arsenal.
It's not a bad result. It's an okay result.
Sure.
Okay, But the reality is we want to win. We beat them last season, so when we did beat them last season, it looked like, the pressure was off us, and the typical when the pressure's off, we tend to pull out, win big wins and so on. This would be a big win today, especially off the back of a defeat against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, so much debate about how much that cup is worth. Today we can go and get 3 points. However, I don't care about clean sheets today. If we can get 3 points, that will be massive. It will be a massive step in the right direction this season, especially with Tottenham playing on Monday as well. They'll apply the right pressure there too.
Yeah, very true.
And then get one of the hardest fixtures out of the way. Listen, Anfield and Etihad are the hardest fixtures for me on the season. St James Park is third on that list. So this is a big one for us, I think.
You echo those thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, it would be a massive win, but it'd also be a decent draw. No Odegaard, no Jesus. I'd be very happy coming away with the point.
No Partey as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler, Paul?
Yeah, I agree with both of them. I think obviously we want 3, but one's still great.
Yeah, Lauren?
Yeah, I would agree. However, when we ever talk about draws, we've got to factor in how we arrived at a draw.
Sure.
So if we go 2-3-0 up and then they claw it back, then a draw will be less acceptable.
Well, Chelsea in Stamford Bridge a few weeks back is a good example of that. Like, not that's different. It's not St James's Park in the former Newcastle arena, but Chelsea still a lot of very good players, good manager. You can lose or draw. Listen, defeat would never be acceptable. You can draw at Stamford Bridge. It can happen. But where a lot of the frustration and the aftermath was kind of around, why did we play so poorly? So I get what you mean about it's kind of how you arrive to that. But on the other hand, you spin it around and go, we played terribly from 2 and now we pulled it back. So I know what you mean. When it comes to draws, it's more like what's the context around it? Because going into this weekend, right? I said City would score 6 against Bournemouth. They just do that to these teams. We did Sheffield United last week, but they just really decided that City. They scored 6, 1-6-1. Then you got Tottenham playing Chelsea on Monday night. I think they're going to slap them personally. Hate to say because Tottenham, they're going to destroy them. So a draw tells you, yeah, I do. So a draw would mean being 2 points off City, having been 2 points ahead of them, when we came out of the international break, and it means potentially 4 points behind Spurs. And I think that is the weight on our minds that makes us think, yeah, Newcastle draw wouldn't be good enough because we're thinking about the race we're in right now.
And I think factoring into that is the fact that I think we're under a bit of pressure to perform in this game after the embarrassment of Wednesday.
Yeah. Do the players are feeling that pressure?
Yeah, I think they would. Yeah, I think they would. I mean, because it wasn't just like we lost by the odd goal. We were comprehensively beaten. And obviously that follows on to this game. It's interesting, I was chatting to a couple of the guys at the gym last night where I go to, and they were very disappointed with that performance. Very disappointed. Which kind of belies this thing going around. I know people like Robbie are saying the cup didn't matter. Well, it does to a lot of people because not only did we go out of the cup, but it was an embarrassing performance. So to me, that puts more pressure on today.
Yeah. Aaron says if we got offered a point right now, I would say no. We won here last year and we are not on top right now. Today, 3 points is another statement. We come on, you Gunners. Yeah, and I always say this when we discuss the whole is a point good enough kind of thing. It's like the City game before the international break, I'll say. I wouldn't take a point if it were offered because I think we can win, but a point's not bad. But that's how I feel right now. If a wizard from the future came and said, a point right now, do you take it? No. Exactly. No, I wouldn't take it because I think we're good enough to get a point, but I think we're good enough to win.
Yeah.
And I'd chance it that 1 of 2 results are going to come through, not the defeat. I would chance it.
I do want the performance. I don't always say this, but I don't mind losing if we really try, really put on a really good performance. You can lose games, but I feel like the performance against West Ham was naff, really naff. And that's what I mean. Yeah, understand it. Take your mixing and thinking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was because I don't want to belabor the game. Just very briefly, what I couldn't get was the managers resting the likes of Odegaard, Declan Rice. Saka and Martinelli, yeah? Okay. You want to go down that route? Fine. Personally, I would have played a strong team. But then we go 3-0 down, and after 60 minutes, you're bringing on the same guys that everybody was telling me you're resting.
And the game's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
3-0.
Totally gone. So the logic was a bit askew for me.
Jay Sonson in the comments says, I don't care about the performance, give me a dirty 3 points. You know what?
Dirty.
Matty had a really good conversation with Robbie on Box to Box outside St James's Park. Here's what they had to say about the atmosphere.
Those expectancy levels are rising now, and people are coming here not just expecting to win, but to be entertained as well.
Yeah, and one of the
Entertained as well?
about this place, even in those years where things are a bit of a downer, is that it does carry the atmosphere. It's one of the most atmospheric grounds
He's still there.
in the country, and that's risen as well, hasn't it?
You have. War flags, you got to shout them out. We've seen it. We've had compliments from all over Europe now, with the displays against Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain and blowing them on the way. I think that PSG game was won before the ball was even kicked. With them backing, they didn't know what to do. Dortmund was different because Germany, yellow wall, Dortmund was sensational. So against PSG,
sensational.
Other teams, your Man Cities and stuff, it's a huge atmosphere, and the displays, the the passion from the crowd. The players feel it. But listen, there's not another club in the world that celebrates interceptions like we do. It's like tackle stuff. Everyone's going mental over a tackle or in the corner. So it's going to be mad tomorrow. It should be a class game, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, man.
God damn, what the fuck ads? What a weird, bro.
Come out, he's just saying that no crowd celebrates interceptions like the St James's Park crowd. Declan Rice giving him time to celebrate. There's a question here, super chat from Josh says, can you qualify your level of concern with no Odegaard? I think basically...
Bro, what the fuck? Estás mostrando todo lo que ya tengo.
It's Odegaard on top of Partey missing, on top of it being Jorginho we put there, on top of it being Havertz we put there. That's what it is. Like, if we had Partey fit and Vieira came in for Odegaard, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I wouldn't feel like it should change drastically from what's Arsenal can do. I'll back up option to Odegaard, I'll far better than I'll back up option.
Oh, I take that. It's 87.
Smith Rowe missing too. Smith Rowe might be the one he called, wasn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, so I'm gonna take that right now.
They've just got some. I mean, first it was Timber, Partey. You know, Smith Rowe's had problems. Jesus, you know what I mean? Like,
it's football. I'm gonna that. I can't say
it is football, but it's starting to sound rather disproportionate, isn't it, to us?
I'm seeing a lot of online, and it's not sparked of what you said, but I'm seeing it online. Aston, love Aston, always joins us as well on fans every now and again. You know, saying, you know, Jorginho over Gabriel for captain. Not for me. He's not convinced about that. Lots of people, I think Curtis mentioned it as well on social media. Where do we sit on this?
Declan Rice captain.
Yeah, Declan Rice is definitely a better option than Jorginho.
Surely he's going to be a captain at some point as well, right?
But Gabriel's a fair shot. I think Saliba's another good shot. I don't care how you if you don't care about giving it to someone that played for Chelsea 10 months ago, then I don't care about giving it to someone that's 21 years old.
But no, I don't think Jorginho, okay, he's one of the most, if not the most experienced Arsenal player in terms of the amount of games he's played, but he's not the most demonstrative.
And he's also, he'll be that without the armband anyway.
Yeah.
So give it to somebody
And then do you think
with the
he only
Arsenal.
picks it because it's someone that's been there longer rather than sooner?
Probably the easy decision for him.
Yeah.
I think everyone will know he's giving it to him because he's the most experienced. Yeah. It's like, you know, that's it.
Well, can I go back to something? Again, it comes back to when we last played here, we won. I remember Gary Neville was doing real in-game analysis of Jorginho's performance, because Jorginho was great last time we were here, and what he was sort of saying was he was describing, he compared him to Paul Scholes. So listen, I must have seen him say that. Gary Neville.
Go on, continue.
Yeah. What he was saying was, I didn't say it before you all started. I didn't say it.
A warm welcome everyone to Manchester's Etihad Stadium. My name's Guy Mowbray, delighted to be joined by Sue Smith for commentary, and hopefully we've got some goals and drama on the way. Sue, what can we expect from the game then?
Well, thanks, Guy. I can't wait for this one today. The atmosphere is buzzing, and I'm hoping the football lives up to it.
And I hope we get that today.
Here's the lineup for Arsenal.
Well, it looks like they're playing the same way, and it's about winning your 1v1 battles in this, but also making sure that you're covered defensively when they commit the players
Hang on, Sue, they're in. Amazing. Had to score, but didn't.
But he stepped up on this very stage before for Arsenal. Do it again.
Inching ever closer to goal here. But that's where any chance of anything developing disappears.
Forward, Kai Havertz to Chelsea first header.
Decent, making progress here.
I'll say, James, this is a massive
Oh yes, that's how to make your mark in game one. A debut goal.
Today is a big game for
But Gabriel's doing well.
Kelly.
Sorry, just watching this attack is Joe Linton.
This is Walker.
And they're making a fast start. Newcastle bloody
Arsenal regaining possession.
Trippier on the ball. Into the box, Gabriel clears. And then so does Declan Rice.
Cole. Delivered into the box. Still problems for them here.
For the first time.
Well, they've done the hard work, it seems, but no end product.
Yeah.
So I'm saying today is a big game for him. He needs to do something.
Good work to beat the challenge.
Funny, right? Because like that first half, Kai Havertz, I think
Real
he showed a little
opportunity.
bit. Listen, he wasn't
Tapped
good,
out,
wasn't
but for how
good.
long?
He showed a bit, final bit dry. There were so many other players who just as
That
bad.
is where
And
the
I'm
attack
amazed
will
that
end.
that was the game that tilted people over the edge, because I'm like, I saw more in that game than I saw in all the others.
Arsenal
Now, I'm
have
not
it back
saying
now.
it was good enough. Maybe it's
Havertz hasn't played, he's kept them there because I think the future for him is Havertz in that position. So I think as much as he's been poor, we've also been poor with the decision to put him in that position.
So who would you have there instead?
Having a try. That looked as though it might have been slotted in, but it's been placed wide.
I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure. Even though it fits the system we rebuilt, to be honest.
When we started 11, we talked about names, and I mentioned
Good work from Arsenal to win it back.
Madison, Kudus. These are all names that were attainable in the summer. And we chose
Haaland.
Kai Havertz.
So can I just say, Saka with a foul throw. Come on, man.
No, it wasn't. It was a Newcastle.
Sorry, the way he did it. My bad.
We're not going back to foul throw.
No.
That's the bar.
What an era.
Erling Haaland.
I was, it was false praise, absolutely.
Can't believe I still remember that bullshit. Foul throws. Maldito bailarín.
That was the game where he showed more than all the others.
I wouldn't say they were totally tipped over the line. What I would say, being in the ground, there was a
Options available in the middle. Cut back nicely. And it's a decent stop by the goalkeeper.
Didn't make a correct pass or whatever. Got tackled. The groans started to get a bit louder. People are openly
The corner is fired in. That's not properly away yet.
This guy, man, he's playing shit again.
Great chance here.
Sometimes what it is,
It's a 3-goal lead, and the win almost guaranteed.
Yeah, it's getting good.
The game restarts with this, as good a first-half performance as you're likely to see. Oh, a really poor challenge. What's the referee going to do here?
He's pressing now, Kai.
He needs a game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll be today.
He needs a really big game.
Well, the fans in the away end are having a tremendous time of it here. What an impressive performance they've seen, Sue.
Yeah, it's been a great first half, guys. They controlled large parts of the game and they look like they're going to score every time they go forward. If it stays like this at half-time, they'll be delighted with that.
And the first 45 minutes have come and gone.
When you've got the well played,
I think Brighton will be really up against after that.
So away we go then for the second half.
It's the body language, and he's quite laconic, quite a laid-back character. And when things ain't going well, fans will be like that. They look at certain players, and it's always not putting the shift in. He's not doing
Erling Haaland. Switched on and ready to intercept that.
I'd say is different because his body
Good ball, decent looking attack this. And another! Ball to the good now. Any ideas of this being a contest surely over?
I don't love he has that kind of like he'll wait until the last minute to play a ball and not really have a whip. That was nice. The other players seem to like passing.
Man to go a long way with this.
Going to the game well after that
And
first.
stopping in their tracks with a change in possession.
Said that and then he went all.
I was given a free kick.
Pele.
That's a little bit lucky.
He tried to.
Svenja Hood.
Thomas Lass says the thing is, if you look at all matchups today, each team is at a minimum of 3 to 5
Beckham.
injuries. So it is whole Premier League.
Encouraging signs to the attack, but it hasn't led to anything.
There's injuries across the board.
Yeah, it's injuries to key players.
But it's injuries
Good
there
width
as well.
to this attack now. De Bruyne has to be. A terrific tackle. The chance has gone.
Really well. Whipped into the box. Which is out.
Could be a corner.
Maybe the fucking guy.
Moving forward under no real pressure. De Bruyne.
That's very direct.
Oh, chance here.
Really?
And the play. Throw in to come.
Overly critical. I thought it was
What's going on here?
Who was that? What was Ben White? Is Ben White okay?
I know, he looked really slow to be honest.
Really, he was really slow.
Yeah.
Bro, I thought it was offside. I thought, what's he waiting for?
Is Trippier on the ball?
Guedes.
Through the legs.
Well done, Declan. Tommy Aston.
The forward progress continues. Beckham. And there it is. Oh, but the flag goes up. It's not going to count.
Well, it looked close, didn't it? He certainly thought so as well. And he's making that clear to the assistant.
Let's take a look at the stats at the moment. As I've said in previous times, it's not to be. Obviously, we've grown to expect this at this point. The possession, we're all over it. 63% of the ball seen so far. I think it's been a pretty positive start. When I say that, we haven't necessarily done anything wrong yet. But I see no reason to be concerned at the moment, so I'm quite happy.
A little careless there as the ball changes hands. What a change here!
I'd actually echo that and build on it. I think it's been a positive start because we've got ourselves on the ball, playing a little bit of football, giving Newcastle a reason to sit off us. The first minute, it looked like they were just, I mean, Joe Linton must have just driven our midfield twice in the first minute.
Oh, maybe a bit of space now. Oh, this is getting...
Martinelli.
The players are definitely under pressure after what happened the other night. But then that's going to make them want to, really fight for this one.
Could take it all apart.
Right. Oh, that's a bit short. Someone a bit short there.
To left centre back to win that ball. But come on, you've got to deal with this up. Oh, no foul. No foul.
Getting unbelievable. It is an absolute thrashing.
With the ball. They can't catch it. Guys, it's a bigger scale. I'm just having a bit of fun. Sacking out. Finished it off because they know.
Well, if we take another look, he just glides past his man. The defender just can't live with him. And the movement is good to get on the end of it. And it's a simple finish in the end.
He was already back as well.
And off we go again with the gap now a full 5-0.
Is that big about Joe Linton?
Funny how Newcastle didn't stop when he was on the floor when they had the ball.
McManaman.
There you go.
He's not holding anything.
Promising ball. More work to do yet. Rice. Saved but not clear. And it's saved and the danger is now over.
Well, you can see how pleased he was to get hold of that after what was a superb first save. It's good goalkeeping that.
Agreed.
He's definitely world class.
Earth Extreme says, James, don't forget Lonely
De Bruyne.
Frank. He just looked over. Lonely Frank. You're not Lonely Frank. You're just over there.
That's not a good one, and we might see a second yellow here.
Interesting battle in this game. Joe Linton.
And the ref decides that is going to be a second booking.
Yeah, he can't complain about that. It was a poor challenge. That was always going to get a second yellow. He's let his teammates down
It's so
there.
funny when subs are warming up.
De Bruyne.
Like 5 minutes in.
Genuine chance. Good patient build-up, but not quite the end product. Needs to be careful here.
That's what's fine.
So I had to see him warming up there.
He scored a very good goal in his last game.
Here we go. I also find this weird that they have to be off the pitch for 30 seconds.
Pushing forward now to make the right choice.
So basically they're trying to discourage anyone faking it. Yeah.
And the defence has done its job to stop any trouble brewing. So that will do it for today, and it's the visiting fans who...
Set tone for Arsenal.
Couldn't live with him from an attacking perspective. Created lots of opportunities.
He still drops into this area and lets Tommy Aston get forward, which I like personally, because you want Declan Rice in this week. They're not letting Joe Linton back on. It's still not there.
So the Newcastle
fans are screaming.
They can't get away from the ball to get away from it.
And, I think it had to be a whole 30 seconds, which, can feel longer than it actually is. Martinelli.
See him doubling up on Martinelli.
Inside, nice.
Jorginho.
Yes, he's still up there.
Oh, well done, Saka. Good. Well done, Kyle. Well done. Oh, go on, Kyle.
But and it's the kind of like laxity. Havertz. No, Jorginho. Yeah, that's ball. That's lovely. Havertz. But it's that kind of like nonchalant, and then he just kind of jumps, and then jumps kind of like.
I would never say that was a fast-paced.
Yeah. Sounds like you've run out of patience already.
Yeah, he ran out of patience ages ago. I'm very aware.
Is it Portuguese or just Portuguese?
David Ornstein's first tweet about it.
I'm also exploring Kai Havertz deal.
Then I saw that first tweet. Remember that first fucking tweet I saw? The reason we're going for him, from one of these big Arsenal accounts, the reason we're going for him is because
he's got a body like Van Persie.
What?
And then it said, think shots from impossible angles, half space monster. Oh, okay.
You remember it very well.
I'm not even a fan of Van Persie. Like, Van Persie was cold, but he's a snake. But to compare him, Havertz to Van Persie was crazy.
I must say that is a bit far-fetched.
Or Kaka, Dennis Bergkamp.
Don't piss me off, man. We'll talk on forever.
Oh. Ben White with a throw.
I've seen the stat the
Down
other
the line to
day.
Eddie, who does something.
He's been omnipresent this season, hasn't he?
Who?
Ben White.
Yeah, always available.
Oh, well done,
Saka. Ref. It's getting physical. I like that we're showing that. I like that we're showing that. Good.
Illuminado.
Newcastle players will leave one
Illuminado.
of our players at some point. They will. They've got that streak. If they're not comfortably winning,
That Joe Linton one on Saliba was leaving one on him, but it backfired.
So, but when it happens, I want to see the likes of Declan Rice getting stuck in and saying, "Listen, that's one thing Xhaka always did. He always stuck up. He always stuck up for our players always."
And that was the reason why Fabio Vieira was never going to play today. Because he's got to say he's a bit lightweight on this.
But I think Fabio Vieira does more in that area that Havertz just found himself in than obviously what Kai did. But come on.
They haven't even...
Illuminado.
What, the Havertz?
That passed him, but they haven't. No?
I know you're right.
I haven't really had a chance.
I want to see it.
Down around. Oh,
It's a good border.
into Eddie.
Well,
Declan Rice, well
So
done.
tidy, so tidy.
Yeah, it's Tommy. And Arsenal are playing out the back fairly nicely as I jinx it. I'm through it.
That was good, that was good.
Well done. Down the line.
Illuminado.
To be fair, I
Illuminado.
can't blame them for not winning a header off Dan Burn. Oh, has he got the ball? Oh yeah, go on.
Go on, Eddie.
Go on, Eddie. What have you got for me? Look at that. Standing up the defender. Cristiano Ronaldo.
See, Joe.
Erling Haaland. Boy, Erling, you don't get your...
In there again.
Yeah, left a little one, didn't he?
Arm raised again, man.
Nice. Oh, lovely pass. Hit it.
Oh, it's pulled up.
Oh, lucky. Hit the fucker. Well done. Go on. Good one.
Go on.
It's a corner. It's either a corner or a foul.
Illuminado. Illuminado.
On Arsenal.
Nice, Tommy.
Yeah. Look, decent pressure. Get stuck into them.
Exactly the physical thing.
Look at that. That's your fullback up there. Well done, Havertz.
His physicality is underrated.
Yeah, we're saying
Tommy Yasu.
yeah,
I like that.
a massive reason why him over Zinchenko made sense.
They all closed in.
Yeah, his physicality is definitely underrated.
At the back and up there.
I'm just gonna say, team of the week. Fuck.
Come on. Corner.
And
For Arsenal.
I'm surprised
The
that's
guy's lacking.
Arsenal's set piece goals.
6 with Man City most this season.
Gabriel header, I'm calling it.
Gabriel header. He's saying.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
Rice. Back to Jorginho. Hit it. Martinelli. And it was blocked.
Wasn't really much in it though.
Nothing. I got excited for nothing. But we wouldn't want to throw it.
Decent little spell for Arsenal, this.
Yeah, very decent. In fact, let's get the 15-minute stats from Frank. I've definitely not forgotten about Frank.
I'm glad to know you haven't forgotten, James.
Never, mate, never.
51% of the ball so far. So Newcastle are slowly starting to get back into the game. In terms of pass completion, we're looking at 84 attempted passes, only 75 of those being completed, so that's 89%. So Newcastle are slowly getting back into the game in terms of the possession, but we're getting opportunities now. So we just had that one with Tommy Yasu that led to the corner. And we're being very physical as well, which is not what I expected against the Newcastle side. But once again, I can't complain so far.
So that's what's so funny about stats, though. And I always say this. We've actually done some videos on this, Graham and I. Like, I test first, then stats. Everyone knows I love stats, and I have to look into all that. But statistically, Newcastle are coming back into the game. on the eye, Arsenal
Illuminado.
Just on that, actually, I was talking with my dad today, and he actually said you do love stats. My dad said that you, James, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, she think about you. Ooh.
Because you're very good at them.
Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Big up to another Andrew.
Is that just me, man? Did anyone else think Almiron should have got a yellow card? That's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Why they tripped?
Just left a little.
Yeah, he's out here putting moves on the girl. Putting moves on the girl. Illuminado. Illuminado.
He's only one winner there, mate.
Yeah, we saw it last weekend.
Did you do it?
Danny Big Fury, huh?
I thought you said you'd done
No,
that.
no,
Sorry.
UFC's taken over boxing, man.
Also in the comments, MMA or boxing, which is the better sport, is Ray with a free kick after the foul on who was it? Was it Gabriel?
His kicking's been good today. Maybe not.
Yeah. To be fair, he's actually pinged a few decent ones out to the right hand side. And Arsenal with a throw.
Belling goal. Belling goal. Belling goal. 82, what the fuck?
I had a jumper that's not Arsenal related. I went to wear my colour.
Otro Real Madrid. Real Madrid.
I just want you to tell Laurie, yeah, just look at the chat, please, James, yeah? Just look at the chat, live chat.
Yeah.
Did you even see?
Oh, that's good.
Illuminado. Illuminado.
Did you even see one person say boxing?
God damn.
There's a poll. I'm going to vote UFC because I'm more scared of Turkish than Laurie. In a way, most people are saying MMA and Arsenal. Maybe create a little bit of an opening.
I can understand that, and I'll explain why in a minute.
I just gotta get an 84 in here.
It didn't go out. It didn't go out.
I'll fix my shit.
It's a good little spell.
Otro.
It's all right. Look into it.
There we go.
Need a goal.
Come on.
Illuminado. Illuminado. Aquí, coque. Coque por. ¿Qué es eso? Ahí está.
They're going to hit the line there. Well done, Tommy. He read it. He fucking read it. Oh, here we go.
Well done.
They didn't stop. Hang on. Go. Come on, let's stay down. Inside back. Free kick. No way.
I've gotten it thousands of times.
The ball down the line. Is that Longstaff though? Wow, that's out.
Watch Wilson.
Pulls it up for Wilson. It goes back to
Illuminado. Illuminado. No more. Ahí nos vemos.